Not only what can people afford, no. If we think about what people can afford today, we're taking where they are and reducing them to a lower place. If we think about where they are and where we can get them to, using what we provide, then that changes the narrative totally. So we look at it from that point of view, and we believe that it is actually possible. Not only do we believe, we've actually made it possible already. Every product we deliver, which is renewable, we deliver profitably, but at a lower price than the competing non-renewable product. Every service, even the kilowatt hour of electricity that we deliver profitably and commercially in an ecosystem is cheaper than the same kilowatt hour from any other alternative. And we do all that without resorting to subsidies and more burdens on the taxpayer. But rather, our job is to innovate and make sure what we deliver makes a difference in those communities around us. And that's what needs to get out there a lot more loudly. You know, if we're able to be the very best that we can be in other sectors, if we can have the best doctors, if we can have the best, you know, everything else, let's also take this seriously and make sure that us in the energy sector, in the renewable energy sector, you know, especially, show cause to help people forget the idea that renewable energy is expensive, because it isn't. It totally isn't. It's actually cheaper. It's actually more reliable. It's actually more productive. It makes a massive difference. There is no need for subsidies. No, not at all.
If you're watching the show, we're talking to the CEO of Manduli's Energy, Mr. Peter Nyeko, or Engineer Peter Nyeko, depending on how you would want to put it. And I want to say thank you very much for all of you guys watching the show all across the world, and those who stayed up awake in the United States of America, thank you very much, and welcome back from Afghanistan. You've done very well for yourself. And of course, those who are watching from Australia, thank you very much that you're staying away from the dangerous species so that you can watch Peter talk about climate change. And to those who are watching from the United Kingdom, thank you very much for staying a little bit more with us to actually catch this program. And to my friends in Denmark and all the guys in Sweden, we've got your messages. We say thank you very much. Peter, you've got a lot of votings coming from Ugandans all across the world. There are some Ugandans today we are talking to from Seattle. These are people from their Choli land. I've seen some people, sending messages from Seattle saying, that's the son of the soil. And I'm asking myself, why are they not home? Is the land still scaring people in that area? Or has the climate changed? How can we have them come home so that they can be part of this discussion that they're enjoying right now? On that note, I want to take a moment and just serve you a cup of coffee as the CEO, and I just want to give you a cup. And we're going to toast to this coffee, Peter, while we dive to the next question, so that you don't sweat so much in answering these questions, but apply your mind to how can we get the Ugandans who are living in the diaspora to come back home and be part of this conversation we're having today on the CEO Bench.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, you can also serve yourself a cup of coffee from the comfort of your sitting room or from your office, and make sure that you enjoy the cup of coffee. The coffee we're serving today is a testament of making environment a better place for us. It's from Bududa in the eastern part of the country, in Mbale side, and the farmers there have grown this coffee so that the CEO who sits here and drink this coffee can appreciate them. Would you buy the coffee from them, by the way? I
will actually do even better, I hope. They would think so too. I will make a commitment to go to Bududa, find this coffee farmers group, figure out what they do with their waste, and help them earn some extra money from their waste.
Wow.
And also, if any of them spend any money on cooking fuel that is not sustainable, I'll commit to making sure they can access sustainable, clean cooking fuel at a much lower cost than they would have spent beforehand. So the difference is this: going there, buying their waste, they earn money by me going there. Secondly, making sure whatever they were spending before, they now spend less. So if I buy their waste and what I sell to them is cheaper than what they spent before, they're in a better place than they were before I got in. I don't need to hire a consultant to prove that their life has improved. It's simple mathematics. And it's poetic.
Yes. Time for a coffee break. We'll be right back after this. It is a CEO Bench, and welcome back from that coffee break. Peter, welcome back to the show. We want to toss to this conversation going forward. Now, take us back to, before we went for a break, you were talking, the question was about the Ugandans in the diaspora. Should they come back as the climate change, now that you lived abroad and came back and are doing these things? Has the climate change, or climate change is not working for them?
Awesome. Well, think about it this way. I mean, it's obviously not easy to fly nowadays with, with the global public health issue that's raging, in every country right now. But, and I also understand the world is a global village. People who may have lived away for many years have built lives in other places and so on. But it is possible, to basically figure out a way to be both here and there and everywhere. It's a short flight, and you can actually take a long weekend as long as you can handle jet lag quite well. For not too much money, based on those economies, you can fly over and check things out and see what makes sense. You can look at your areas of expertise and look at where the need may be out here, and you might be pleasantly surprised that the economy out here is not too bad by any standards. And you might realize that, it's possible to create something that makes a difference, yet is also profitable in this ecosystem. So I think people just need to come over, not just for a short holiday, but spend a bit more time, kind of understand what's going on, look at what's needed, look at what's possible, and get involved.
Wow. Peter, thank you very much for that. I hope that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora have gotten that message quite clear. There are a lot of opportunities back home here. Let's get back to climate change. Change management is the process of moving from one place to the next. It requires that it is communicated. You have moved from different investment banks in the UK, making decision to come back to Uganda. At one point, you had a big dream of starting, sort of like putting us back to the good old days of UTC with the Dream Shuttle. That didn't work. What happened? And you are here now in renewable energy, now in climate change. Those are all processes of change management. How are you able to do it, Peter? I'm stuck in my desk somewhere in a corporate world or in my sitting room. I don't know where to start from. How do I move from these places?
Simple. Follow the problem. Follow the problem and look at the problem for what it really is. A request inviting us to curate a solution. And wherever we go, whatever we look at, there is always a problem that needs a solution. Or there is a solution that needs improving. Or there are things being done that could be done slightly differently that makes everything a lot better. So there is need everywhere. And having that mindset that there are no problems, but only opportunities to curate and create solutions, it makes life so much more joyful.
Yes.
For the blessing that it is.
What's your say on that one? You've heard from Peter. Peter Benho Nyeko Odokonyero is the man on the show today on the CEO Bench, and we're talking to him. And now this part of the show is about change management and transformation. Peter, what assurance can you give? In fact, before I dive into that one, do you think that transition to 100% renewable energy will be expensive? If Uganda wakes up today or Africa wakes up today and say, here we go.
I think if we look at energy, not as electricity only, but as kind of every type of energy that's used, we are already almost 100% renewable for electricity. We've done incredible. So we're right in front, front of the class, tip top, first class. Where we need to do a lot of work now is shifting to 100% renewable for cooking. That's a very simple thing. And we can go to Bududa, we can go to Kasese, 2 places on other sides of Uganda, one in the east, one in the west. Places that have had issues with landslides, rock slides, and floods. When we go there, we can ask the people out there, the mothers, the grandmothers, and the young men who are farmers, and others, and the kids, and go, what has changed? Well, we know the slides happened, but what else has changed? And as you sit around, they'll tell you, there are less trees. Okay. We're planting higher up the slope now. Okay. Oh, we're planting non-indigenous trees. Okay. So what does that mean? It means there's a purpose that those trees had. And that's, when we look at it from that point of view, all of us in the city, all of us in urban areas are connected in this country, in most parts of Africa, to our people in rural areas. And we know their issues day to day. You can call your grandmother and go, all right, what happened today? There was a rock slide. Oh, what happened the other day? So as we start replanting trees, as we start getting the ecosystem back with indigenous trees, think about it this way, all right? If you've got trees on a slope with the roots holding all of that soil together, and underneath that soil are rocks. If you cut the trees, and the trees fall down, and the trees become charcoal, and they're using kisimenti to make very nice michomo. Now, up there's now no more roots to hold the soil together over the rocks.
Yeah.
When the rain falls, the rocks come down and destroy everything below it.
Yeah.
If we don't grow food in a sustainable manner, and we use a lot of non-organic fertilizers, we basically destroy the soil, and we don't do crop rotation by planting beans after maize and so on and so forth. And we decide to plant higher up, again we cut trees again as well. All of that leads to that issue, and in the end it affects all of us because we're all connected to someone in rural areas. So when we realize in the urban area that the choice we make with regards to how our food was cooked has a direct impact on our people in rural areas, when the conversation changes to that, it becomes a lot more interesting. And when the conversation changes to some from the rural area coming out and telling you in the urban area, please, I don't want a rock to come over my house.
Yeah.
I don't want mud to come over my house when my kids are sleeping. Please don't use charcoal for cooking. Yeah. When that's understood, that message can go through, and it'll be a piece of cake. It'll be actually a Rolex. As easy as a Rolex.
Of Kampala. Wow. Yeah. Peter, on that note, what assurance can you give that this is actually doable? That's number one. And there was a lot of rhetoric at the UN climate change talks in Paris about getting to 100% clean energy by 2050. I think the Donalds received a fair share of it, and so was the Obamas. But what does it really take to do that? First of all, is it possible? What does it really take to do that? There's a lot of jokes about it.
Commitments have been made.
Yes.
France has made commitments, the UK has made commitments, Japan has made commitments, even China has made commitments.
Has Africa made commitments?
Africa has made commitments. Uganda has a Climate Change Act now. We have made commitments. Yeah. And any company now, I ask you, anyone, go to Uganda Parliament website, Google that law and figure out what's there. There's good things for anyone who follows that new law.
Yeah.
There are, good things there for those who can help keep Uganda green and keep Uganda blessed by nature and gifted. But there's also a bit of scolding in there for those who don't.
Yes.
So people should wake up now and realize, if people like, CNOC and Total and Tullow have already made commitments towards climate change, what about us here in Uganda? Wherever we are, whether I run a shop or a business or whatever, what am I doing? And how can I fit in and what can I learn from there? And that's a lot that we can basically do. And I believe it is definitely possible to do that. We can make that commitment. And in Uganda, we can actually go fully renewable in a very short period of time. Our population is not as big as other countries. The fact that there's not much archaic infrastructure to change, but rather the opportunity to build anew, we can actually make that point to build new, build wise, and build affordable and profitable. Because that's what's really exciting. And there's a lot of support, that can make things possible. And it is really, really, really possible. A factory can switch today and go, all right, I will no longer use firewood. I will use rice husks converted or maize cobs converted or coffee husks converted. A farmer can say, for my acres, I will no longer use non-organic chemical fertilizers. I will use, fertilizers that are made from the residue of biogas, from, like where people have biogas toilets instead of setting up, pit latrines and so on. A lot that we can actually do. And if we simply set one simple target, Uganda goes clean cooking, 100%. If we do that, I believe in a very short period of time, we will realize, the air smells nicer. Quite interesting. Because if you look at everything else, if petrol, diesel, electricity, all of that is just 10% of our energy usage, and 90% is wood. The big work for us to do is to actually cook clean and run our factories cleaner. I'll give an example. If you think about it from this point of view, if it's a circular economy now where nothing is thrown to waste, where everything has another use, suddenly farmers will have more income to buy the things that your factory manufactures. If you use their waste to power your factory, you can sell more of your product to them because they now have more money. And so it's an interesting cycle. And it's really interesting from that point of view. And I believe there's a lot of hope. There is a lot of hope. And we just have to get on with it.
This is the CEO Bench. Mr. Peter Nyeko, Engineer Peter Ben-Or Nyeko Odoko Nyero, is the son of the soil. Grown up in Uganda, or born and raised in Uganda, but not fully, and went to the UK when he was about 5 or so, and lived in the streets of London for many years, and worked in the streets of London, educated there, back in Uganda, and now thinking of how the knowledge built from the United Kingdom can be used in Uganda to change things in Uganda and all across Africa, working in collaborations with such people he has worked with all the way from Boeing back to Uganda. What a journey. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question for Peter, you better punch in right now because we're just hastening to the evening of this show. Peter, do you think that the recent floods in Uganda, as well as, in Chennai, India, are a result of climate change?
Think about it this way. What is climate? And if there are floods where there were no floods before, or if there are floods to an extent where there were no, different from the extent before, then there's definitely a change happening. And if we think of the climate and the environment, the ecosystem, then it has changed. So the fact that it is because it is.
Well, if you get it, you get it. I know Peter's just given us that. I told you he's more of an artist than an engineer. And then engineering is about solving problems in our community, in our society. And those who've studied engineer, we respect them because it's about finding solutions to the problems and giving solutions to the problem. Peter, as we go to the final close of the show, we want to wrap up really quick because of your time. And we want to say thank you to everybody. But will your plan effectively help the drought in the northern Uganda? And any parts of the country in Africa, in Uganda and across the Africa, if at all it works, will your plan help them? And if we have no water to work with, that effectively take out the mode of power, I would like to see why, or rather a way, designed to help replenish water sources. From you, Mandulis, the CEO, and the people you're working with. Throw more light there quickly.
What's very interesting is, we think based on an ecosystem approach.
Yeah.
We look at everything that's important. We don't just talk about energy, but we think about what the energy is needed for. So we look at healthcare, that's why we work with electric ambulances. We look at, access to water. That's why we look at, water pumping, water cleaning and so on. But ultimately, it comes down to this. Very simple once again. If everyone stops cooking with firewood, if everyone stops using firewood in their factories, everyone stops using charcoal made from firewood, the trees will flourish. When the trees flourish, I believe there will be more rain. And when there is more rain, I believe there'll probably be more water as well. So it's a very interesting one from that point of view. But secondly, when there are more trees, the land, which was previously, losing its grip and swimming down, wherever it may be, that land, that soil can be more firm. And, also the foliage that falls from the trees makes the soil more fertile. The trees, there's flowers, bees can flourish. Bees are very important for the ecosystem. So just simply not cooking with firewood can change all of that for us in this country. Secondly, we've got to think of everyone who currently works in the business of firewood and the business of charcoal. We have to deliver a solution which enables them to still make a living, to still look after their children, to still survive and flourish and thrive. That means delivering solutions which can get waste into cooking fuel replacement through the existing supply chains. So everyone who previously made a living from what we term as non-sustainable solutions, switches to sustainable solutions, still makes a difference, still makes a living, but more importantly, thrives even more. Because what you said earlier was the economy might not understand that renewable energy, climate-friendly solutions are actually profitable. They're actually really profitable when people understand that you can make a lot more money if you don't cut that tree. They will definitely not cut that tree.
We already know that Uncle
Yes.
PK, just down the western side, is reaping money from the city of Kigali from just telling everyone, don't cut trees. And he's become an ambassador to that effect. Peter, well, we're going to bring this to a close. And perhaps this is my last question to you as we close the show. One time I asked a friend of mine in Europe a question about electric cars. We've talked about electric cars for a bit. We've talked about these things. And this was his answer. I asked him, what do you think about it coming from you, Africa? And this is what he said. I'm more interested in autonomous vehicles. I will take a gas-burning autonomous car over a clean electric car any day, any time. In my view, is that possible?
So the reality is this. So things have changed, all right? A few years ago, we had December 2015, we had COP21 in Paris, the Paris Climate Agreement, which has been ratified, and it's part of this new Uganda law, which I just talked about.
Yeah.
And almost every country in the world is on board with that.
Yeah.
In a couple of months, in November, the whole world is going to Scotland for COP26, and more commitments will be made. In the run-up to that, almost every country has made commitments already, but also big companies have. But most interesting is this. In most of Europe, there will be no more petrol or diesel cars manufactured very soon. And by very soon, I mean probably as early as 2030 to 2040. There'll be no more diesel or petrol cars manufactured. There'll be no more diesel or petrol cars even on the road. So when you look at it from that point of view, even though some people in those communities may not have felt they were fully ready for the shift is happening. And in not too long, that shift will have happened. Even ships are shifting. You know, a massive shipping line switched to biofuels earlier. Even in the aviation sector, which I know a lot about, because that's where I spent a lot of my career before moving into entrepreneurship, there is a shift going on to renewable powered, airplanes as well. So there are a lot of questions that we have to reflect on and ask ourselves as we look ahead and go, if that's what's happening globally, if this is what we've committed to through our laws, let's think about it. And let's ultimately look at it from this point of view. We only have one Earth. We only have the Earth we have. And it's been gifted to us by those who came before us. And we have the ability and we have the blessing to actually make it live on for longer, but also to help make it be a better gift to bequeath onto those who come beyond us, thousands and thousands of generations ahead. Wow. And that will be our legacy as a generation, or as a series of generations to have lived through the world at this point. And that's what's happening right now. And I'm really proud of Uganda for having at least 3 electric vehicle companies already in the country. And I'm really proud of Ugandans for having come on board and kind of made that possible. And I feel we have a lot to share with our neighbors in Africa and in other areas that want to see how it's possible to make things happen at a low cost, despite not having the infrastructure that others have. We've chosen as a country, whether we know it or not yet, but we have chosen to take that massive leap forward into what others feel may be the unknown, but what we feel is the land of hope.
Peter, parting shot. Question to somebody who is watching. We will not have time to respond to some of their questions, to some of their, comments. Is climate change a hoax?
Well, climate change is real. It's as real can be. And the fact that we've seen it happen around us, the fact that when we go to rural areas we see the impacts of it, the fact that the whole world has come together to make commitments to fix the issues that have been caused by us allowing destruction to go on unabated. The fact that we've all decided to come together and make a difference now. And the fact that even in Uganda, we've not only made a decision, but we've taken a great leap forward. That should give us all a lot of hope that it is possible. But think about this, is very important, wherever you may be. If you work in the coal industry, you can still keep your job. You can still work with biochar instead of coal. You don't have to change any of your infrastructure. If you're in the oil and gas industry and you have to keep on running diesel vehicles, you can still run them on, biofuels. If you're in the charcoal industry, and the wood industry, you can still use renewable fuels through your existing supply chains. No one has to lose their job. Rather, it is possible today to do exactly what you did before, but just in a different way, whereby you can make things a difference. And even if you're a poacher, for crying out loud, and you know how to follow dung, to get the elephants that you want to take down, because the elephants are crucial co-builders of the climate. You can collect cow dung instead and bring it to a bioenergy company that will buy that from you and produce more electricity. Put your skills to use. Every skill you have, whatever it may be, it's possible to still keep that skill, still do it, still use it to make a better place for you and future generations, and earn even more money while caring for the earth. It's not about shutting people out. It's not about cancel culture. No, it's about coming together, sitting around the fireplace and deciding we love this world that we've been given because it loves us. And we're grateful for the creation that we are and that is around us. And we're ready to work together and ready to be committed to make sure that whatever we do makes it a better place for everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, in some circles known to me is Mr. Goblet, and in many other circles known as Engineer Peter Nyeko. Has been our guest on the CEO bench. Engineer Peter Nyeko, take it away with a poem like you always do for climate change for Uganda. Over to you.
Awesome. I will give honor where honor is due. I am most grateful to His Holiness Pope Francis for inspiring, through the Laudato Si encyclical, inspiring a movement towards looking after the common home we have, which is the earth. And the words he said when he had his TED talk, you go out and watch it. Very great TED talk he made. But he used these words. He said, the future does have a name, and its name is hope. A tiny little flicker of light that feeds on hope is enough to shatter any shield of darkness. God bless you all.
It's a wrap from us here. Until next time, the CEO Bench Edio Killer, Engineer Peter Nyeko, signing out. Shout out to all the team that makes this possible here, and to all of you guys who watch the program and makes it really amazing. We are super, super excited to always have you around, and we're looking forward to making it even to a bigger platform. Until then, God bless, and stay focused, stay safe, stay changing the climate back to where it was.
My name is Dr. Jinpo Olowo. Thank you for watching House of Talent Television. I love to inspire people. I love to talk about my experiences and how God has been able to use me in the different exposures. And through the leadership, through change management and transformation, I've been able to do a couple of things in my life. Now, are you a kind of person who is tired of your status quo? Do you want your situation to change? Are you tired of what is going on in your life? Change is a fact of life. We've all been through experiences in the last couple of months that have taken us to a place where we need to do something about our lives. We need to change whatever is going on. So if you have not piled up investment for yourself, you need to do that. If you've not done businesses to hold your family in future, you need to do that. Are you thinking of full-time employment? You need to be thinking about your life after employment or your business in the next couple of years. So if you want us to chat, if you want us to talk about this, please get in touch with us at SEAL Uganda on number 0772443085, or check our website www.sealuganda.com, or on all the social media handles. You can hook me up or Facebook, that is Jinpo Olowo, on Instagram, Jinpo Olowo, and on Twitter and LinkedIn. Then we can chat a way forward with you. We can help you, we can coach you, we can walk with you this journey of financial freedom. Thank you.
you think you're ready to engage people once again after 2 years or 2.5 years of no activity brought about by COVID-19?
I think the advantage of the lockdown and the past 2 years has been like most of the creatives, whether they are independent or not, have been engaged in a process of creating content, and I'm curious to see what's going to come out of this now that we are free to start working. I'm sure everyone is going to be ready to prepare to present something that they've been working on. So I'm not really worried about if there is content. I think I'm very worried about who is going to present it because most people have actually not maybe actually have really moved on.
Yes.
I mean, they realized that they were chasing a dead horse, you know, and they were like, you know, we are not going to survive 2 years of not working, even trying to mitigate the, you know, life. Now that they are, you know, they have started some jobs. You know, if you have a job that is 9 to 5, you're not going to start, you know, going for rehearsals or going to dance in a studio. And what are you going to eat if you go there? So I think my biggest worry is about who is going to be presenting the content, whether it's dance, whether it's theater, whether it's music, whether it's film. Okay, film is different, but I think there are certain art forms that are independent and they really need an effort for someone to be able to present it. And I think opening up without any support structure to help these people get back into the market, it's going to be really, really difficult. So for me, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge.
Okay, so when you say there are certain art form that needs really, really support and there's some that needs to, what are those, you know, can you highlight some of them that needs to?
Yes, I mean, when we are talking about like the independent art scene, we are talking about some of the independent artists I know, and they are the most challenged one are the contemporary dancers. The contemporary dancers, first of all, contemporary dance is very, very new to the industry, to the market here. And even when they have been working over the years, you know, dancers like, you know, Jonas, like Julius, like Oscar, have been really working hard to really cultivate their audiences. And they have been not really managing to get them, you know, to fill up the auditoriums. And now that they are back, they need a lot of time. They need at least 6 to 8 months to prepare a production, and which means that now that they don't have money and they're opened up to start, they needed someone to, you know, or they needed some kind of like a support fund to get them to start so that they can be able to prepare their work to present it to the audiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of support are we looking at here?
Money, of course. I mean, it's money. I don't think you know, there's anything else. Maybe also space. Space is also an important thing because some of them need space. They might have time and they might have money to survive on where to stay, but they definitely need space to rehearse on.
I wish everyone in the music scene success, but they are not going to move for as long as the people in the government does not respect art and look at art as a form of competition to them. We're wasting time. Also, the structures are put in place. People like Balaam and a few other people who just come in. I'm reading it here. It says people like Balaam who come in, says who have you know, proximity to the powers that be. Instead, they who even hand from music and promote music. Sometimes when these challenges come, they are supposed to be able to tell the people in authority that, look, this is where I also earn my money from and support. But instead, sometimes they also manipulate the system. I respect them, but they earn from the system, the music industry, but they're also the same people who don't support the music industry. I'm being honest. I hope you can read my comment on the show because I've sent comments before on TV and it's never read.
Okay, I think, no, honest, I understand personally. I really understand the frustrations of all the people. I am some of us are more and always frustrated, but we try to keep a smiley face.
Yeah.
And everyone has a lot. If you start inviting people to talk about the challenges they face with the investments they make here, you will be overwhelmed. Yeah. So it's really true. And I really think, as they say, they need to be considered. Yeah. There's a need to really, find out how do we all take part in this shared responsibility. Yeah. How can we all have a shared vision for our country? Yeah. I'm not talking about politics. Now, in the arts, in the creative industry, how can we grow it together? Yeah. How can we share the pie or the cake that is there so that we don't grab everything to oneself? Yeah. When I see people mentioning names and saying this one takes the thing, I have no problem with those people. Yeah. But I think also, if other people are there in the market, then they should be given an opportunity, or even thoughtful. We can't always keep things in one side, one side.
Welcome to the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela. This week in the studio, we have the man who has been in audio-visual artistry for the longest of time. The people who have stood the test of time of COVID-19. We want to know from them if they are ready. Come 24th of January 2024, Uganda will be opening up for events after 2.5 years of no activity at all. It was believed that the audio-visual sound industry was closing down in Uganda. And as a matter of fact, many people actually closed down, changed career, went into something else. Others, the bank loan swallowed them. But those who remained are yet to take us back to the moments where if there is no entertainment, then there is no creativity, then there is no productivity in the country. We're glad that Uganda is opening up, and joining me on the program today is the one and only Jude Sempewa, coming from Legacy Production Limited, a company based in Uganda. Jude, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eddie.
We're bongering and spreading love here. We have to do this. You have to and spread love to people because COVID-19 has been there. In the words of Pastor Joshua Martin Mugabe. But welcome to the program. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Doctor.
And
I'm
doing
fine, Eddie.
Yes. Yes. Some call me doctor because of the health and fitness, so it's understandable.
Sure.
But first, Jude, we want to know from you. How have you been? How have COVID-19 treated you? 2019, we have not seen you. Things have been just up and down, lockdown here and there. Let's talk about Jude in the 2019.
Jude 2019 was a very beautiful, sunny, fair weather year. Yeah. We had the best of what you could call an eventful year. Yeah. So many events, so much happening, so much entertainment, so much infotainment. Then came in 2020. Yeah. Out of the blue, things changed. The script was flipped.
Yes.
Thereafter.
Wow. Yeah. And if we go back to the ancestry, we want to know, are you Ugandan? Yes. What does the name Sempebwa mean? What does the name Jude mean? Are you Ugandan? Yes. What are the values that define you as Ugandan? We want to know the ancestry, the background of Jude.
My names are Jude Sempewa. I'm a Muganda by tribe. I'm above 40. And I'm a person who has grown with my passion. Yeah. Passion has brought me to where I am. Yeah. I did school, through college, through university, and after campus, I decided to follow my passion, which passion was entertainment. But entertainment to us was born into our family from when we were kids. Yeah. So even after school, when I came into this whole entertainment thing, it was something that had been born in me, and it had become a culture. Wow. Yeah, become a culture, and then I took on this culture to turn it into an art, so as to be able to earn from it and ensure that it puts food on my table till the current date. Wow. I entered the entertainment and art industry in about 2003 when I started DJing at Stakeout. That doesn't cut out the bit of the story that I even used to DJ as one of my small part-time jobs at campus.
Yeah.
That was about 1998 to 2001.
Yeah.
But actively, I started DJing in 2003 at Stakeout. Got out of Stakeout in 2005, where I started Legacy Entertainment, which was a sole proprietor. Yeah. Entered into playing music for private individuals as well as the corporate world.
Yeah.
Drifted all through that into coming up to about 2010. That's when we got to the decision that we really now need to serve mainly the corporate world. We chose the corporate world because it assured us of more business. Yeah. In terms of utilizing our time better, yeah. Having worked from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., unlike other industries in entertainment, usually go into the night crawling kind of schedules. Yeah. Yeah. And also the corporate world assured us of repeat business. Yeah. They're more stable to work with. Yeah. They'll respect the work that you've done, and they'll give you much more referrals. Wow. All these referrals trickle down back into a penny in your pocket. Yeah. But this also comes with a toll on its other side. Yeah. Your mind has to be running. You have to keep thinking for them if you're going to serve the corporate world. Yeah. Unlike the other dancing and entertainment industry whereby anything goes, and by the time that it comes to the morning time, they don't even remember what you did for them. Yeah. So that is what has gotten Jude to where he is right about now. Wow. I'm the head of business at Legacy Productions Limited, which is an audiovisual equipment hire as well as events management company. Yes. Legacy Productions came into being in the year 2014. Okay. And for the past about 8 years, we've been rolling with it. Okay. It's been a very good ride.
Yeah. We can see the results of it on the screen there, and of course, and some of the things you've been doing. Jude, that talking about it, you studied something else. Yes. And you ended up doing your passion. Yes. I want to know, how did your parents, first of all, what did you study? And how did you flip from what your parents want you to do to doing your passion? Because I am very certain there is a young man out there, a young lady out there who is wondering how to do this. They have the passion to do something, but they are being told you have to be a doctor or an engineer. And yet it is very clear that whatever they want them to study, they are not going to make money out of it, or they are not going to practice, and they don't love it. How were you able to flip the coin to get into art and actually continue with your artistry part of you as opposed to what you went to school to study?
Thank you, Eddie. I'll start with the end, what I would have put as the end statement. Yes. Believe in people. Yeah. That's it. Believe in your child. At the age of 5, when I was 5 years old, I happened to be introduced to music, to be formally introduced to music. Put aside being born into it, but being introduced into music. Whereby an auntie of mine brought a cassette home from a disco called Sejiko. The first time I had Red Wine from UB40. So, and it happened that afterwards, I knew where all the music was at home. I was the custodian of all my dad's cassettes. Yeah. I even knew the order in which the songs used to play. Coming to my P3, that's about 1987, he gave me a Walkman. Yeah. If you remember Walkmans back in the days, it was an old school cassette player about this size, using 4 batteries. And I don't know, I think my elder brother is called Tony.
Well, I was a master of those things.
Tony used to love music so much.
I opened those things and messed it up, and I was beaten several times.
Now Tony used to love music so much, and actually I picked very many, not just a leaf, but very many leaves from him. So Tony, I think, took the Walkman. He was in Namilengo College then. He took it to go out and be a big boy. Back in the days, you know, Walkmans, I'm a big boy. But after that, I went to, as in Kampala Parents for my primary school, from P1 to P7. And then I went to Namilengo College from S1 to S6. Then from there I went to Makerere University. Through high school, my friends, my hobbies who I was with can attest to you.
Yes.
That Jude was a music person. I used to have a small radio, earphones, headphones on my ears. I used to know all the good songs all around there and things like that.
You were the go-to guy in high
Yeah,
school.
I was a go-to guy when it came to music. I get to know all the new hits on the blog.
Yes.
I knew all of them.
Yeah.
Came into campus. Campus, I wanted actually to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Macquarie University.
That's what I know.
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But what happened was that I missed law by 2 points on government. So I then qualified for BIFA, which is fine art.
Yes.
When I went into fine art, I was in those lessons for only 2 weeks. I applied for a change of course. BIFA, fine art.
Fine art.
I ran away from something
Which you all later on you came
which
back
eventually I was
to.
going to fall back into, but from another perspective, from a more interesting perspective,
Yes.
from a naturally inspired perspective.
Yeah.
When I finished campus, after fine art, I did social sciences,
Yes.
where I did a major in social administration
Yes.
and a minor in economics.
Wow.
Little did I know that the economics had done and the social admin had done were going to get me to professionalize an industry which was seen as the common man's or the industry for the
failures.
Yes,
yes.
For those who hadn't gone to school
yes.
and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. When I entered music after campus, I had some critics from a number of individuals. Why are you doing this? How can you're a graduate, how can you be doing bidongo business, sound system business, moving on pickups and what? Only one person believed in me. That was my mother.
That's shocking.
Yes, she
and
believed
your dad
in me.
must have been saying this is a failure. I've had a wrong course.
Rest in peace, Daddy. He wasn't alive then to see the dream come true.
Okay,
he actually passed on when I was about like 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't around to see the dream. But I'm proud that I've gotten his dream alive.
Yes.
Up to this point. My mother didn't judge me for what I'd chosen to do, for the path that I'd chosen to take.
Yeah.
She just encouraged me. She was like, just do things the right way. They'll always pay you back.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy. Be truthful. Have those qualities, integrity. And don't forget that you've been to school.
Yes.
Carry forward whatever you've studied into what you intend to do.
Yeah.
Trust me, it won't fail. A few years down the road, a number of colleagues who didn't believe in the dream which I had then saw this baby start to flourish.
Yeah.
So then they fall back.
Yes.
Have you been doing this? How did you do this? Where's someone to start a mobile disco? Where's someone to do such and such and such kind of thing?
Yes.
So it's just been a very interesting journey all the way through.
Wow.
As I mentioned in the very start, we had to choose what is our niche. You're doing entertainment.
Yes.
You've decided to do this art, but what is your niche? Where are you pointing your gun? Look out at the market. Where are the opportunities? Where should you point your gun? Don't take the big wide road which everyone is walking through.
Yeah.
There's this narrow road with bumps. It's the better road because at the end of it is the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This big road has been trodden and spoiled and done all things, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So came in a bit of the research and development.
Yeah.
Sit on your side and think, I've chosen to do this. This is my vocation.
Yeah.
How am I going to do it? How am I going to ensure that I keep it alive?
Yeah.
In that at the end of the day, there's a legacy left behind.
Yeah.
That is legacy productions.
Wow, well, you're getting that refreshing back to love. This is the Creative Industry Talk. We're talking to Jude Sempebwa, who is head of business development at Legacy Productions Limited. Jude, of course, you've had a beautiful story right there, coming from a young child, you know, young as 9 and 10, looking after his father's records, and later on becoming a DJ, and from law to social sciences to, you know, to fine art at university, and jumping out of it and coming giving back to the creative industry. You see, creativity runs in the blood of every human being brought on earth. Even you too who is watching the show, you are actually creative. So we want you to share your love with Jude. Send us your kisses and disses coming. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be diving to the questions of our discussion today. If I will put the topic up there for you to actually see what we're talking about today. We're talking about the challenges of 2022 for the independent creative arts in event supply chain, and of course, you know, readiness as the events open up on January 24th in the, year 2022. After Uganda being off the scene for 2 years, we want to know if the Judes who are actually the supply chain, as you've talked about, the audio visual that powers the event industry, that powers the creative industry, is actually ready to go back. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this break. This is the Creative Industry Talk.
To do the kind of work that like I do, you need to educate yourself. We are unfortunate that we don't have a school of arts management here in this country, and I don't think anywhere in East Africa. Yeah. So it's very difficult for someone to understand the scope of the work that we do. But if you want to learn, if anyone who is a programmer out there and who wants to really engage in these theories of learning to do things differently, you have to study. Like, I think the bottom line, the basis of this business is really to study culture economics. When you study culture economics, you will understand the process of understanding culture. It's a very public, good kind of approach. Yeah. You put yourself there as a sacrifice. The way our president said, sacrificed his hand and kept this to himself. Yes. So you also have, it is serious. Yeah. You have to understand that when you learn culture economics, you understand the basics of arts management, the basics of programming. So when you do that, then you understand that when you put yourself into this job, you are sacrificing yourself for the better good of the rest of the industry. Yeah. And that means that you're going to put your interests aside, and that's what many people don't understand, and put the interests of the industry to be your first priorities. Yeah. When people ask me, why are you always working? Because I decided to make 99% of my time to work. And I decided not to be an artist because I realized that if I am an artist and I want to be an arts manager, I'll not be able to do the same. I put my 99% of the time in my work, and then the rest 1% I share it with the people next to me.
There's always that influence of our parents, okay? With Ugandan parents or African parents for that case. Books before everything else. Yeah. Okay, so how is it with your parents? Do they support you playing basketball? Or it's these things of you have to hide and make sure no basketball photo of you goes up on social media? How is it with your parents?
My parents are very supportive. Yeah. They are very, very supportive. I actually thank God for that. Because we have had fellow teammates where they have to hide, like you've said, hide or facilitate themselves for anything and in everything about basketball. Yeah. But my parents are very supportive. When it came to the time of, I think I'll make it on team, what. The passport, they made sure I get it on time before even anything, before it was even confirmed. The COVID, they made sure I had the shots like on time. Yeah. If it is the shoes that I need, I'm not going to hustle. They're going to give me that money and I buy the shoes. Basically, even if I say I have training tomorrow, at this time, they'll give me the transport and everything. They're very supportive. That is For sure, yeah. So I don't know how to hustle when it comes to basketball, yeah.
Sylvester, let's talk about the multilingual. I mean, this is really a very great piece of work. You've talked about multilingual, and we've seen a girl there singing in Lutoro. That's the first time I've never heard of a rapper in Lutoro, in that language. So yeah.
No, I know. Actually, she was rapping in no, that's
Runyoro?
That's Runyoro.
Runyoro, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Runyoro,
yes.
Yeah, but it being a multilingual platform, it has also introduced us to, languages, more and more languages, because it's an expression of culture. So people come with different languages. For example, like the first time I had Kumam. Do you know that there's a language called Kumam?
Kumam, yes.
Kumam,
yes,
but
it's between Teso and Lango, yes.
But it's a tribe of like they have a small population.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the first time I was like, wow, what language is this? And she said there were two guys, they're Kumam.
Yes.
And they featured on the 2015 album.
Yes.
And it was sounding so nice that you're forced to ask what language it is, you know. And it was so nice. Then there are some languages, you know them, but you've never had someone, use them in a song as an expression, like Lugisu, like Kejong, and so many others. Yes, others we've grown up listening to them, but we've never had someone, using them in a rap song. So it has been an eye-opener even for us as organizers, listening to different, expressions in various languages. So we welcome everyone, to express themselves freely. And Faisal Shwera, the director of Baimba, the first time he had Big Ben, one of the participants in the 2013 Boot Camp, he had him rap in Lugisu, and he thought it was a language from South Africa, like one of those languages from South Africa. Like it was sounding so nice. It was like, wow, what language is this? Is this from South Africa? So that's how it is. It has been an interesting journey as well, that we're discovering these languages. We know them, but we know it's a different way when someone uses it in a song as an expression. It's a very good feeling.
Welcome back from the break. My name is Eddie Okila, and this is the Creative Industry Talk. Of course, in the studio we have Jude Sempeva. Jude, welcome back to the program. We are talking about the 2022 challenges that faces the independent creative mind in the heart on audiovisual. And of course, we're looking at the readiness of us in 2022. The events in Uganda has been, locked down for so long, and we are coming back. We want to know from you, Jude. First of all, a beautiful story you've told us right there. When we talk about, for example, the independent creative arts industry in Uganda or in audiovisual sector, what are we really referring, to? From the event supply, part, because normally people just talk. You find me having one speaker. I also call myself an event supply chain person, but I'm not. But so when we talk about this, what are we really referring to?
I can sum all that in just one word.
Yes.
Relevance. That's it.
I want you to break the relevance.
2022.
Yes.
Relevance. You have to be relevant. When our industry closed in March 2020, it was actually a crash. It crashed down. We had a couple of bookings, quite very many bookings. Remember, as I told you, 2019 had been a very beautiful year, and it was carrying itself over into 2020. As soon as COVID came in, everything crashed. We lost all our entire bookings, all the bookings. We had nothing happening. Warehouses were locked. It was termed as a dead stock from that point then. Then when they opened us up partially in July 2022, we actually thought that it was going to be the same script as we'd been working on before COVID. But we later realized that, hey, actually things have changed. The clients who were supposed to call us are not calling back anymore. They're not calling us anymore. So it was about shedding skin. We realized as Legacy Productions that we had to shed skin so as to be able to fit into the new way of doing things. Actually, our biggest fight, our biggest fear, as we're walking through the 3 months of lockdown into when they opened up, was the entertainment, the audiovisual industry not being relevant anymore. Because there was this term of millennials. Millennials are coming up with new ideas, the new normal, new way of doing things. You don't need to do any more conferencing with those big gadgets. You can do everything from your phone in the comfort of your home, so long as you have entertainment, so long as you have this small piece of equipment powered by internet. So, us getting back to be alive, we had to push things from the point of relevance. How relevant can we make ourselves as Legacy Productions to our clients? How our clientele being corporate, how are we supposed to come back and step back into their space with what we can talk to them that is music to their ears, as well as adding value to their brands and images?
Yes. Wow. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't think about this thing, Jude, when you're talking about, and when we talk about independent creatives, we're seeing the real meaning of it coming from you and what you've just explained. Jude, a quick one. Now that government is opening up, you know, the performance art, you know, to operate again and to start doing things, do you think that you guys in the audiovisual sector, as the event supply chain, are actually ready to engage after 2 years or 2.5 years? Are you ready to engage again to the public, or do you need help?
Yes. When it comes to a bit of help,
yes, yes.
Us in the audiovisual and events creative space,
Yes.
there are 2 dimensions to this.
Yes.
Yeah, we have 2 types of clientele that we feed. Yeah. There's a clientele that is into purely entertainment, being happy, even being happy for no reason.
Yes.
Right now, everyone wants to be happy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
even happy for no reason. The stress, the COVID, we've been locked up, and all things like that. Everyone just wants to be happy.
Yeah.
But those happen at night, on the weekend, and all.
Yeah.
Then there is the bit of, that is the entertainment bit, purely entertainment bit. You know, which you have to get creative for. Then there is the infotainment bit.
Yeah.
Infotainment is where someone wants to be happy for a reason. I go out there, I have my company, I need to put out this campaign, I need to launch this, I need to run this platform, I need to run this conference. That is infotainment, whereby there is relevance and a journal attached to my after production.
Yeah.
If I went for a concert, I mean, there's nothing much I can account for at the end of the concert.
Yeah.
Nothing much. But if it's a conference, there's a lot more to account for. So, are we ready to open up? Entertainment will open up. They will make the money. It's obvious. The whole world is craving for shows and all that happening. But most of those have been in limbo because of the lockdown situation.
Yes.
On the corporate side, which is infotainment, if you were wise enough to realize what is relevant to the corporate client, the corporate client has been active since July 2020.
True.
Post a little bit,
Yes.
during the second lockdown,
Yeah.
of 2021,
which
that was around
so hard,
which didn't even hit
Jude,
which didn't even hit so much.
Yes.
If you are into infotainment, trust me, legacy has been open ever since. So if you ask me a question, if we are ready to be open, yes, well, we've been open. Because we've been serving our corporate clients who had that urge to be out there and be relevant on the global scene.
Yes.
The ones in entertainment, those doing the concerts and the being happies and all of that,
those supplying the churches,
those can prepare themselves to open up. But on our side as Legacy Productions, looking from the point of relevance to our end clientele, we have been open and we only hope for things to get better.
Yes. On that note, Jude, I want to ask you a question.
Please.
Generally, you have been actually operating because you're fixed, like you said, relevance. You've spoken about it quite very clearly. Do you think the general industry, your industry, audiovisual, is actually ready to open up? Do you see that happening? Some people were hearing that the cables are eaten up by cockroaches and rats and they need to fly to China and start all over again, and some have loans to start with. Where does that place us? I know that we've talked about Jude and Legacy being very relevant because you are thinking creatively and you are thinking to open, and you've actually thought creatively to open up doors for businesses and continue being relevant during the time. What about the general picture of the industry as we draw near to the moment everybody is waiting for?
As we draw near to the moment when they're going to open up the entire economy, I'd just like to let my colleagues in the industry know that a lot has changed.
Yes.
A lot has changed ever since. And I guess I've been seeing how things have been moving. The industry is quite very demanding, quite very, very, very demanding. You have to be creative. Creative, first of all, from the mental point, of things.
Yeah.
Thinking, there's a lot of thinking involved because you have to provide solutions.
Yeah.
Clients are now looking out for solutions. Not just you carrying equipment and bringing it to them to serve, to do whatever you want, but the equipment has to be able to answer a question.
Yeah.
It must be able to solve. A client needs to see value from something that you're going to provide them.
Yeah.
So in the new time that we're going in, it's a solution offering time.
Okay.
There's very little razzmatazz being demanded at the moment.
Yeah.
Razzmatazz, bright lights, all
Yes.
of that. Very little razzmatazz being demanded at the moment. Yeah. People want to see numbers.
Yeah.
People want to see performance.
Yeah.
How have we performed? How has coming to Eddie for equipment?
Yeah.
How has coming to Eddie to supply for our event benefited us?
Yeah.
How do we account for the entire bill? How do we account for the millions that we've paid Eddie to supply for our event? What have we benefited? There has to be that cost-benefit ratio. It has to be in very good balance. And trust me, the benefit has to override the costs.
Yeah.
So as they're opening up this entire industry, the demand is you need to offer solutions to clients. Things have changed. Technology, there's new technology in place. You should have embraced new technology. You should have embraced the way in which business is being done now. Companies no longer want to spend that much money on taking flights to attend a conference in Dubai, conference in Australia, wherever. You can stay in your office, attend the conference, and actually participate.
Yeah.
You even make a presentation into that conference.
Yeah.
Those are the solutions that clients are now looking out for. If you're walking into 24th January, into the gates, the wide open gates of 24th January.
Which we have been crying for.
Which you've been crying for. You're walking straight into those gates are going to be very wide open.
Yeah.
But out there, it's a different ball game.
Yes.
It's a very different ball game.
Wow.
It takes on so much. But trust me, there are so many opportunities.
So Jude, if I may interact, so you're basically saying, much as we are being open, much as we are looking forward to this day, if we're going back to this day with the same mentality we had in 2019, that events is business as usual, basically, we're still not going to make it. That's what you're saying.
It will be hard.
Yeah.
It will be hard to make it. It will be hard to make it. Because when my brothers who are doing the concerts and all of that, people can imagine the inconvenience of walking into the stadium and all of that. We need to think of new solutions, new creative solutions.
True.
Online ticketing, e-ticketing, one access passes, you know. I should be able to buy an online ticket. I watch the concert from the comfort of my home, such a kind of thing. Though, yes, as humans, we love the experience, want to feel that heat, the thump, the steam.
Yes.
But this is a new generation that we're walking into, and we know that it is here to stay. So if you don't embrace it, you may fall off the event production radar.
Wow. Well, you're hearing that coming up from Jude. Jude is, events supplier, is part of the supply chain of the events industry, the creative industry that provides audiovisual to corporate companies, to government, to people, to public people, to business to people. That's Jude. And of course, we're having him on the show today because we're talking about this new part of, the independent creative minds in the audiovisual industry. What is it that they have been doing? They have been saying they're in the lockdown for so long, and now we're being open up. Are they ready to go? We needed to have somebody who can give us a perspective of what is going on in that space. And Jude is here to give us that. So we want you to subscribe, like, share far and wide. This is the House of Talent Television. Of course, my name is Eddie Okela. Jude, I want to have a couple of questions before we take another break here, please. And I want to start from a gentleman here who says, Eddie Okela, thank you very much for bringing Jude in. Jude is my OB. That guy, whatever he's talked about is true. Used to move with a Walkman on him and his brothers were the kings of Namilian College. And I'm happy to see him there. My question to Jude is, he's talking about thinking creatively, going forward. But many of the people in the space are asking government to give them support. Jude is not asking government to give them support. Oh, he has already received. What is it that he can share with us? Well, I think, Jude, you've shared something, but I think you can answer his question. He's basically saying that there have been a lot going on, and you're saying you're sharing, thinking creatively. In what ways should people continue to think creatively? He says he has a brother. I have a brother, a younger brother, who is inspired into that space, but he seems to be losing hope. He had bought some small equipment, got some loans here. The banks have been on our case. He's almost sold his land during the time. We're hoping that this time around we're not going to lose his home. Jude, what do you say to a man like this?
Yeah, that brother of mine talked of, maybe some funding coming in, receiving some money from the back. We didn't receive anything like that. Yes, we had some other people received it, but us, we didn't. But from our space as legacy, research and development. Research and development. Very many people can make it in this game, but they don't want to put in time. They don't want to burn the midnight oil. That midnight oil. Prep. Go out there. There's information everywhere. Information around anything you want to do. Because you know what? You're not the first one to think about it.
Yes.
Just like when you fall sick, you go to a hospital, it's not the first time the doctor is hearing about that. Even if it fails here locally, they'll push you to India. They have a solution for you. So that's it about creativeness and our industry. Think. Always take time to research. Look at the times that we're in. You always find a way out. And also, Rome wasn't built in a day. You can start from somewhere small. Legacy, we started off in a bar. I was a DJ. I had 2 speakers. But those 2 speakers can do a meeting. They can do a full-day meeting. Add 2 more speakers, you can do a conference. And you get paid. So let that young person not think that you require heaps of money. Don't rush so fast to the bank. Save. Save as much as possible. And once you've started rolling off, plow back. Most of the money that you make, bring it back. Don't jump from one thing to another. Focus. Look, target for that bull's eye. That bull's eye. That's where the gold is. It's not targeted within a year or 2.
And that's why we fail a lot.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. I mean, 2003, 2020, I've been doing one thing.
I'm still doing one thing.
One thing. Eh? So long as you have the love for it, because you know what? You're not pushed in the morning to go and do this job.
Yes.
It's a passion. It's a culture in you.
Yes.
You're not pushed. That's it. But if you want to buy speakers, then again you want to go and do a small butchery business, then you want to go into agriculture.
Yes, yes,
you are
yes.
splitting your opportunities. You're
Yes.
splitting your finances.
Yeah.
Focus on this one thing. You can make it.
Wow.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Wow. Jude, I have another question here before we take another break. Eddie Okila, thank you very much for the show. My name is James, and I'm watching this show from Germany. I am an audiovisual guy. I used to be in Uganda. I'm a Ugandan, but I left the country a few years ago to study, and I wanted to basically cross over because things became hard. I'm glad that in 2020, when the lockdown was coming, I just gotten my scholarship to come and study in Germany. I'm doing this at the moment, but my question to Jude is that my brothers in Uganda are not ready for this. Ugandans are a bit lazy and not think very much, or Africa in general. We don't want to think creatively, and yet we're very creative minds, we're very organized people. My question to Jude though is, Jude talks about we need to think creatively and we need to, but what about those who cannot get the kind of contract that Jude is getting today? What advice does Jude have for them to go forward? Well, I think that first of all, Jude, you're going to answer this question. To my brother James, you know, 2003 DJ, we have been with him at Stakeout. We know what he's talking about. And we know his style of playing and all that stuff. Leaping from 2003 to 2000,
About 2008.
2008 is when he's moving into doing something else. Look at that journey. Those are how many years? 5 years, right? So you also attract the people that are of your caliber when you grow to a certain degree. But I'll leave it up to you, George. Yes, he's saying that you shouldn't be, you are now serving big boys. You're hanging out with big boys. I don't know where this word came from, but
it's the in thing at the moment.
Yes. But to serve the big clients, Jude, how does that one get to that level? If I get James World, and if I'm not yet there, how do I build myself to get there? Looking at where you are right now, that's what he's asking about here.
Okay, there's a journey that you have to take.
Yes.
To get to that point.
Yeah.
If you don't take that journey and you want to take another route of shortcuts and what, you will definitely not get there. Number one, integrity. Be truthful. Deliver what you promise. Yeah. Number two, get yourself straight. Get yourself serious. I mean, you want to do this for a living, but you don't want to do things seriously. You want to survive on something, but you want to keep it briefcase. You won't make it. Set up a company. Register it. Face the taxman. No one loves a taxman. Face the taxman. Get that documentation. You've already cut out your niche. Understand your clientele. Understand your people. What do they need to get the best out of your services? That is what is going to add on the relevance on top of that. Add on the research and development. Think on their behalf. We really put in so much in research and development.
Yeah.
Till when China closed the doors to us in January 2020. For the past 5 years, we take trips to China at the beginning of every year just to do research and development. They have the expos there. Information is everywhere. Come to 2022, they're opening up the doors. I want to assure Ugandans in the event space, the clientele base has tripled. Why has the base tripled? Every client now wants a good production. They want something standard. They want something international. They want something sparkling. They want something clean. They want something done ethically. So if someone is out there and they're wondering, how do you tap into this space? How do they... Just do what is right. You will tap onto the cake. The cake is thrice the size. Thank you.
Wow. Well, there's a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila. Jude Sempeba right there from Legacy Production Limited is talking from experience, not lying. And of course, we're going to take one or two of your questions before we go over. Jude, this is a very good one. Eddie Okila, thank you very much for the show. I think this is the best Creative Industry Talk, a platform that we actually have to express ourselves. My question though to Jude is, Jude has talked about us thinking and you know, and says that it is true what Jude is saying, that the space has widely opened. I'm a DJ. Of course, I've struggled to get a job over the years until I realized that I need to focus into creating sound advert for people during the lockdown, and so I've been surviving on this. I'm not sure if I can go back to the club to play music.
That's great.
Yes,
That's
yes,
great.
yes.
That's
And already he's saying that I don't think I can go back to the club to play music because this has been able to feed me, but the industry is opening. My question to Jude Sempweba is, a lot of us talk very good about research and development, but in Uganda, you need some people to mentor you. Is Jude open to mentor some young people to show them the way to get to where he is? He's now on the top. He came from behind. He's been able to hold things up. My question also to him is, how is he able to stay afloat, yet others are going down like the big boys we used to know? I won't mention names.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm very open
Yeah.
to mentor anyone
Yeah.
who wants a piece of the advice.
Yeah.
But there's only one underlying condition: focus. Most people don't focus. You're talking to someone, do it this way. The moment they turn their back on you, they go back to the old school of doing things.
Yeah.
You can't make it, however much advice you give and however much you're counseled, you need to focus. Make your decision. If you've come to me for advice and you want to know about how this thing works, give it the benefit of the years, because I'm talking from a perspective of very many years back. So focus on that, then you make it happen. About the big boys, you know, whatever is happening and all of that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, everyone is still making some money.
Yeah.
Though some may not be as prominent as others at the moment.
Yeah.
But it was a matter also of, as I said before, the issue of shedding skin.
Yeah.
How do you shed skin and make sure that what I'm doing is relevant to what is supposed to be going on at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, just shedding skin and yeah.
I actually have a question though, Jude. A lot of people are crashing in the audiovisual industry, a lot. I mean, the top guys, I know about 3 or 4 people who have shut down. Some of them left the country. Some have taken off back to Europe or to try and get cheyo because things were hard here. How have you been able to manage to stay afloat, Jude? The audiovisual section of the creative arts has been suffering, that's the fact. But how have you been able to manage to go afloat to get to where? I know you talk about some creative things, but I want to just know what is your staying power?
Okay. When we came out of the lockdown, the first lockdown in July 2020, everyone was confused. As the people in the events industry were confused, even our clients, the one who we serve, were very confused. No one knew which direction to take. So then we had to come in and guide the clientele on what has to be done so that they can stay relevant.
That's creative thinking.
That's creative thinking. Creative thinking. You need to get into the mind of your client. Become a part of them. Create an A-team. That A-team involves the service provider on one side and the client on the other side. Don't go to the client just to make money from them. That's not what, their goal is not just to give you money. There's something which they need from you. They need to get a winning point for their side also.
Yeah.
So go couple with your client, become a tag team. Don't think about the money, think about their goal. What do they want to achieve? Why have they come to you? They could have gone to anyone else.
Yes.
So have a winning edge over all your other competitors.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, create a tag team with your client. Offer them solutions and make their dreams come true. That is where you can be able to get this winning edge. The demands, of course, very many demands come with this.
Yeah.
Number one, you're going to have to pimp up your warehouse. Most of the equipment that we had way back before lockdown, some of it has been irrelevant. But now we have to bring in new equipment.
Yeah.
We have hybrid events coming, hybrid events happening. We have to enter filming and broadcast and standard broadcast. Those are all new ideas that you have to bring into your client. Yes. Offer something new. Once the client calls on you, don't bring your mentalities of before COVID.
Yes.
That ship left. It left the coast already. Yeah. Things changed. Think modern for them. Yeah. you will hang on to them and they'll come back to you and they will stay with you. Top of that, keep it coupled with the basics, which we talked about, the basics on the path. Integrity, deliver what you've promised, have straight books, don't be a briefcase company. No one wants to deal with that anymore. Right now things have changed. You've seen URA, the URA systems in place all around us. Don't think that you're going to try and run away from URA and you think you're going to make it. You won't make it because all the big boys with the money are running systems through government. So you have to come and work with the government structures so as also to be able to pick off a slice as your profit to feed your table.
Wow. Well, Jude, thank you very much, and thank you very much for watching the show. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, Jude and I are going to be closing the show with 3 questions about the industry, and of course, reading your comments, kisses and disses. Please go share this far and wide. Subscribe to House of Talent. We're live on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course on our website. You can be part of the family growing bigger and better. And to all the people in the diaspora, thank you very much. We honor you and we love you. And to all the people here at home, we thank you for being creative. Stay right there. Creative Industry Talk will be right back after this break.
Yeah, I'm doing different paintings. I do all branding right now.
Okay.
So as you say that I need like to do community work and do other business. So I'm doing White Star. I'm doing White Star. You don't know White Star Magic? No. So that's Walbury soap.
Yes.
And I'm doing Cowboy. It's like people get my number, call me. For me, what I do, I paint my street art on the wall. I put my number there. You know, everyone is passing there. Everyone passing on my painting. Okay, so I don't just paint there. I just paint. Then after writing my name, then I put my number. So I'm getting more business. People calling me, Abdul, I want you to paint my picture. Can you? Yes, I can paint. You understand? Even those companies like that of White Star, they called me, Abdul, can you do wall branding art on the walls? Yes, I can do. You understand? Even like to do community work in Kawempe, it's like I can't move from Kawempe to other side. You understand? It's very difficult for me to go in town. You understand? Or in Nakasero. You understand? People ask a lot of money to brand your stuff, to put your work. Yeah. That's why I'm mainly working in there in Kawempe. And it's very difficult for me to move from Kawempe and go to Masaka. You understand? That's a big challenge.
But I think it is. I think you can move to Masaka.
Yeah, I can.
Graffiti is also about resistance, resilience, and what is it about? You know, it's also advocacy. You know, like when you're doing a mask, the Corona campaign.
Yeah.
Corona is not only for people in Kawempe to know about.
It
can also work in Masaka. It can work in Toro. But I think the challenge is, how do you find those spaces?
Yes.
I mean, graffiti, like there's a mural here, I don't know, at Aldeons. I don't know whether you saw it.
And on that, people ask me money to paint my work there.
Yes.
I don't just go there, just putting it, you understand?
For the teams out there, okay, we have very many teams in the NBL. What is City Oil doing right that these other teams are not doing? Because we need to see more teams actually, give you guys competition and also get to that international level. All right. So what are other teams not doing that they should emulate?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. There's so many things. Definitely, as a club, we are very ambitious. Okay. When we had just started this club, we said we wanted to be in Africa competition 5 years later.
Yeah.
But when we came in immediately, we won the league, and we changed our mind that we don't want to think 5 years later.
5 years.
We want to start now, and because of that mindset that we want to be playing at the top level in Africa, that means you have to do so many things back here at home to be at that level. So we are very ambitious. Of course, to play at international level there, you have to be a powerhouse at home.
Yeah.
That's why we have to win for us to be able to play international, because those are the rules. If you're playing ball, you have to be a champion.
You have to be the champion
at home. Yeah, if you're not, then you can't play ball.
Yeah.
So we want to keep winning at home because we want to be in ball.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, we win because we have money and all that." I really don't think it's about money. I can tell you that there are some clubs that play players better than City Oilers.
No, but that's not the perception. It's City Oil is the money bags in Ugandan basketball.
That's not true. I think clubs have to really look at themselves and see what they are doing wrong, where they are lacking. Is it the coaching staff? Is it the personnel, the players? Is it their training program? There's so many things that you have to put in place for you to have a very good product. So we look at those. We want our players to have accountability.
Yeah.
If you're not training, you've got to have a very good reason why you're not training. Okay, we hear stories. Some clubs have some star players who don't show up for training. We can't have that in City Oil. However big you are, we'll let you out.
Big game.
Yeah. We want our players to account for everything that they do on court.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are a player who is supposed to be scoring, 20 points for us, and you don't, you have to tell us why you're doing that. So we want to make sure that we know the reasons why you're not playing well. Is it because of coaching? Is it because of this? Is it because of we want to check everything and see that everything is accounted for, and the coaches, if we lose a game, I can tell you that there are meetings that happen, and we have.
And what is the nature of those meetings?
The management has to know why. Why did we lose? So you have to have reasons why, and they have to be good reasons. So that keeps us in check. Okay, for us to try and be at a high level player to always improve and progress. Yeah.
So basically, teams have to be more accountable, not just on court, but even off court.
Everything that you do on court, everything that you do as a coach, as even management themselves. Sometimes we sit with management and we ask them, we are lacking this and this. Why aren't you doing that? Because that helps the team to play at a high level. Yeah. So it is not just players, but all departments have to elevate and work together.
Yeah.
It is a CEO Bench, Eddie Okela, Linda Tibot in the studio. We're talking about change management, leadership and transformation. And of course, Linda is from the Bite of Benin, a West African restaurant based in the capital city of Kampala, Uganda, in the Pearl of Africa. If you haven't been to Uganda, then you don't know what you're missing in the African continent. You can see Linda's a restaurant in Kampala. So, and then switching from law to food, this really shows you that we are a place to visit. But aside from that, Linda, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
We're going to dive into the restaurant business. First, we need to serve you some coffee, so please.
Is this fresh from Africa?
Yes.
West Africa?
This is no. This is fresh from Bududa, and since the French is talking about the new Africa, France relationship, we decided we need to have a French press in this thing, so that we can put the French to their cold.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. And so you can also pour a cup of coffee for yourself, and we like to make the CEOs feel okay, and Linda is in the studio feeling okay. Take a drink, because the West African food is really hot. We know that.
Yes. It depends.
Yes.
as my master's law lecturer would say, it depends.
Yes. But I want to take you straight, Linda, first, in fact, on that question. The Nigerian food, the West African food in Kampala, do you have customers? Because you have food. One time I was in Nigeria, you guys, let me tell you the story. So in Nigeria, and we walked into a restaurant, and they said they give you water, you wash your hands very nicely, and then there's a big people in suits, we're all in suits, and like, guys starts removing their jacket off.
Oh, that should have won you.
Yes. And then the other guys, the people are standing nicely, service guys doing the stuff. You remove your jacket off, you give it to this gentleman. And then you remove your tie off, you give it to this gentleman. Remove your shirt off, you give it. Then we're given the towel. I'm like, yo, Oga, what we're doing now in this restaurant? I said, no, you're going to eat food. This is how we do it here. I was like, no. This is like, I'm going to be kidnapped.
Oh, gosh.
When we went inside to eat food, everyone was eating food, but they were crying. They were sweating like.
It was tears of joy. It was tears of the joy from the taste, the amazing taste of food.
Let's talk about change management from the West African food. Let's talk about the Bite of Benin itself now. That food, I don't know, Africa has its dynamic. We have so many other tribes in Africa, different cuisines in Africa here as a continent. You cannot finish. Uganda alone has 54 of them. Yeah. You can't even finish. These 54 have sub-dishes, everything is there. But the Bite of Benin in Kampala, what is it about? What are you serving? Why the Bite of Benin? Tell us more about this restaurant.
Okay. First of all, the name Bite of Benin, we were deliberate about the name, right? It's a play on the word to bite, but there's actually a body of water called the Bite of Benin, which is situated within the greater Gulf of Guinea on the coast of West Africa. So it's either called the
That's
Bite.
The only time I learned the only thing I respect from my history. These are the things I don't respect. Because now you're talking about,
So it's either the Bite or the Bay of Benin, but we named it Bite of Benin, and it's always a great conversation starter, right? So our intention is to offer food across the 16 West African countries, right? We have foods that are common to us. We have the jollof rice, we'll talk about that. We have the different sauces. So what you'll find is maybe slight differences in the technique or some of the ingredients used.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what the Bite of Benin is all about.
Yes.
Why did you decide to put this restaurant in Kampala, not anywhere else?
First, we're based here in Uganda, but more importantly, we wanted to set up a place where you would come in and explore West African food. So the Bite of Benin is not just about food. Our plan actually is to have it as a center where you will have the arts, so music, spoken word, poetry, artists, painters, sort of like a gallery also, showcasing what we have in West Africa. That is the overall plan for the Bite of Benin. So it's not just about food, but actually bringing West Africa to Uganda, to East Africa. Yeah. Okay. One dish at a time.
Wow. One dish at a time.
One dish at a time.
The West Africans always want to own Africa. Their dish.
Sorry. A sip of coffee.
You always want to own Africa. We want to know Is it because you feel like the rest of the East Africa and South Africa and the Central Africa are not doing a good job in marketing Africa, or you guys just say we're going to take over? We're going to take over, dog. If you
at all.
Let's talk about this.
At all. So the average West African, like I said, right? I've had instances where because we are, should I say overly confident? Well, I don't think we're overly confident, but there's that confidence in who you are as a person, right? And you just walk up and, I've heard stories of, my auntie was in Russia at some point. There was an Igbo man selling plantain, gonja, in Siberia. We don't have snow in Nigeria. Not Siberia quality snow. No. You understand? So I think it's not that we want to own the rest of Africa. We're just outgoing and embracing with love. No. But I think most West Africans are quite adventurous. But I think it's also common to a lot of Africans. Maybe it's just that we were very boisterous about it. I wouldn't use the word loud. So some people take it that is being arrogant about it, but no. If you get to know a West African, what you see is what you get, and we're open about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bite of Benin and the dishes served at the Bite of Benin. I mean, some pictures, we're going to put some pictures up there, and when I posted about you, so many of my friends were like, "Oh, you're bringing Linda! Wow!"
Oh, thank you guys.
Let's look at the plates there. Can you take us through what is this, Linda? I mean, it's just too busy. This is like
now
luxurious.
This is a feast, not just for the eyes.
Now, guys,
this is a feast for you and the stomach. So we have so that's the Ghana peanut soup, and it's served in that bowl. It's an earthenware bowl, right?
How is it prepared?
You'd have to don on your apron, and please do report at the Bite of Benin. Let me know when you're able to. We shall organize that. And of course, a bowl of pepper soup. So yes, pepper soup, as the name says, it is pepper soup, right? But it's spicy. It's spicy and it's fragrant. It's nose tingling. It's described that way, and it is nose tingling. What I love is, so it makes you sweat, right? But you see, it's a spicy, flavorful dish. You can get food that is hot and that's it. There's no flavor to it.
You Nigerian make us eating kamulari in Uganda like nothing.
No, we don't.
Your food is like
we don't do kamulari, right? What we do is what do you call it? We season the dish with the peppers. And can I say, in Uganda, you have amazing, lovely chilies, right? The habaneros. The orange one, it's the fragrance, the bouquet is amazing, right? The green one, there's a particular sauce made in Nigeria with that, it's called ayamase, or fada sauce, right? Then the red ones. But what I've noticed in the difference in Ugandan chili is that it burns and then it eases off. The West African one will remind you.
So what is this?
Now this is
this one look nice, dogga.
This one a correct dish. Like food. This one a correct dish. So there is the jollof rice, which we'll talk about, right? So we have this package at the Bite of Benin. It's called Jollof 30. So every Thursday, you get portions of jollof rice, stir-fried chicken or stir-fried beef, party plantain, and then either spinach sauce or coleslaw. We have both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. So the vegetarian one, we have tofu, which is made out of soya beans. I call it the vegetarian chicken, right? And we make it different ways. We have it both in the spinach sauce or as a stew, or we grill it as suya. Suya is common to West Africa, right? And this whole package you get for 30,000 every Thursday. So this is an introduction to West Africa, if you will, if you haven't had West African food.
Wow. I mean, it looks tasty for some people.
It is very tasty.
It's very inviting, but I can also warn you that this food is hot.
Well, you see, at the Bite of Benin, we allow you to dial your spiciness, but don't come and order Linda's level. No.
All right, so let's talk about this. What's this, Linda? I mean,
so this is fresh, whole grilled, charcoal grilled fish.
Is that kamulari and all we're seeing? Pepper?
No. This is...
We'll have some kamulari there over and then...
no, so you choose. If you want it with correct chili, we infuse it with the chili. You see, the beauty is you're eating it and, Yes. So we have the whole grilled fish, and it's filling. I find just for one person, it's sufficient actually.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is all the dishes from
West Africa. Some of the dishes
some
from
of
West
the dishes
Africa.
from
Yes.
So what if I am coming to West Africa and, or maybe I don't have the air ticket to go to West Africa. First of all, it's very difficult to get to West Africa because there's no direct flight
Unfortunately.
to Nigeria.
Unfortunately.
We hope that Uganda Airlines is going to come up with one that Ugandans can actually move. Some of us been lucky to go to Nigeria, to go to a bit of Ghana, and to experience a bit of West Africa. I mean, volleyball has been able to take me all across the world.
Oh, excellent.
And through volleyball, I met people like Timothy.
Okay.
Oh, man. He's a Nigerian guy. He's a referee. He's loud. And when it comes to food, we're with Timothy in Algeria, and Timothy diss everyone in Algeria. In Algeria.
But in a good way.
I go come to this country to eat food, and this will go give me this food that don't even taste anything. What's wrong with you guys? Not even Nigeria, not in Africa though. I like Timothy. Just relax.
Leave people at their food alone. I know.
And Timothy was not happy at all. But so we don't have a direct flight, but we want to experience. So for a person who just want to if I can't board a bus to go to West Africa, which dish would you give me that when I come? Okay, what is the introduction to the true West African food? So, like if you come to my home area, they'll give you malakwang and corn, and you will enjoy. If you go to Buganda here, they'll give you matoke and luombo. If you go to the western part of Uganda, they will give you ishagwe and some other mixed things, you know. If you go to, Busoga, they will give you some mboli and,
Okay, I hear you.
Yes.
So if you came to not if
the
you
bite
came,
of Benin in Kampala.
You're welcome to the Bite of Now. Please, I do hope you come. Jollof rice, right, is an introduction to West Africa, right? And I know there's this seeming feud about jollof rice. Well, let me say this, okay?
Can we just have a picture of jollof rice somewhere up there?
Jollof rice, funny enough, jollof is originally
what does it mean?
From the Wolof Kingdom in Senegal.
Wow.
But the Nigerians and the Ghanaians collected it and moved forward with it. Okay?
Typical of Nigerians always.
And Ghanaians, we moved forward with it. So like the other day, I told someone, right? When he came, he said, which jollof rice do you have? So I told him, I said, there's only one jollof. I told him, I said, there's only one king and there are many contenders. Being Nigerian, I made it obvious.
Yes.
It is a jollof rice. Before the Ghanaians will come for me. No, but I would say start with jollof rice. Then I also always ask people to try the stews. So we do tomato stew. Now, West African tomato stew is heavy on tomatoes. We use a lot of tomatoes. I'll give you an example. If I was using, say, 4 kilos of tomatoes, right, I would put in maybe 2 kilos of onions.
So which one is jollof rice from here?
It's the one on the left.
Do you have a picture? I think we have a picture of jollof rice somewhere.
Yeah, certainly.
Right,
so I'll just quickly run over. There's jollof rice. There's egusi soup in front, which looks like scrambled eggs. That's the feedback I get. But that is not eggs. That's actually a type of melon seed from West Africa that we grind and then mix.
So this is a jollof rice.
This is jollof rice. So that red color comes from the tomatoes. We don't add any food coloring because I've had questions on that. So that comes from it, and then we use because we don't have what we call tatashe, which is the big red peppers we use in Nigeria, which is deep red color. We use the red capsicum here, the red bell peppers. It sort of gives us that same color, but not quite. But hey, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking of that, Linda, as we come to the end of the show, what are you looking forward to with this restaurant in Kampala? What do you want to achieve with this restaurant in Kampala besides money?
Well, that's a good point. First is to make body well. For you to understand what make body well means, you need to come to Bite of Video.
What do you mean that body well? Body well doesn't mean what?
At all. Make body well. Come to the Bite of Benin. We'll talk about that, and you will make body well. No worry. But our intention actually is to introduce West Africa one dish at a time to East Africa. There's a lot of commonality actually between our meals, right? Well, not our meals, but the ingredients. I'll give you an example. bitter leaf. It's called mururuza here or bombo. The first reaction when I mention it is, it's bitter. And I say yes. But there's a way we wash it and use it with the sauce we use, which is the egusi, right? And when you eat it, it leaves a sweet aftertaste. There's also water leaf. I honestly have forgotten the botanical name to it, right? But each time I point it out, people say it's a weed. And I say, when you find that weed, please bring it to me. We use it to cook, right?
Yes, yes.
Stuff like the hibiscus. We use it to make zoborodo. Zoborodo is a drink. So at the Bite, we call them bite seals. We don't do cocktails. And it goes perfectly well with the make body well. So our intention at the Bite of Benin is to introduce West Africa to East Africa, one dish at a time. Come experience West Africa. The pepper soup also, we'll dial it back a bit for you. We can have maybe a tub of yogurt or some milk. Now this is called Chapman.
Yes.
It's an iconic Nigerian drink.
Yes.
Most Nigerians, when they walk in, it brings back childhood memories for us, you know, only at the Bite of Benin. So come, make we shake body. But this one is the correct one. It's the correct one. I take you make body well. You're good to go.
So Linda, I have a question to you here from, you know, we call himself, he's called the king of the house of Kirunda. That's how he called himself.
King of boys.
Yes, yes. And then he's a very good friend of mine. This is, he's called Leo Kirunda. Says, you know, ask Oga that Oga. Make body well. What is make body well? So let's talk about what is make body well. Because this seems to be, everyone who comes to Bite of Benin or to West Africa comes back asking make body well. Yes. So what's make body well?
So my mom, she retired as an English lecturer in Nigeria, and she loves cooking. My grandmother actually set up a hotel cum restaurant. She also loved cooking, right? So my mom got into cooking competitions actually. Yes. I've actually found instances where people don't know her name, but she has this dish which is a very tasty, flavorful, spicy, either she could do chicken or goat, but often was chicken, called Make Body Well. Right? So she actually wrote a recipe book, you know. And when we set up the restaurant, I told her, I said, there's a dish I'm going to name after. And she had a laugh. I said, no, I'm serious, right? So that is it. Make body well. It's a goat platter we have at the Bite of Benin. It's,
Leo is saying you'll thank me later when you ask her that question.
I bet Leo can't chop her more. We dial it back, but can't chop her. We do it. We do it.
Okay, Linda. Towards the end, we're talking about the transformation, of course. You know, here. What is your ideal transformation as a person? First of all, as a lawyer, you know, and then as a restaurant owner, as a food, you know, enthusiast now, businesswoman. You know, what is your ideal understanding of transformation with everything that you do as a person, to the community, to individuals, to the nation? When I thought about this, Oga.
We're not thinking.
Yeah.
Transformation. Yes. It has so many meanings behind it.
Yeah. With everything you do.
Being able to, okay, so I'll give you very, very quick example is if we're able to, as Bite of Benin, for example, able to get Ugandans or people living in Kampala in Uganda comfortable and confident to walk into the Bite and say, I'd like to try this. Okay? That's one aspect of transformation. Okay? If as Bite of Benin, we're also able to train cooks and chefs who are versed in West African food and fusing it in some aspects with the food from Uganda, right? From time to time, that is some transformation also.
All right. And I mean, just to ask this question, somebody just sent me this question. Says, Eddie Killer, thank you very much. He's written some very hard Nigerian word. This is surely a Nigerian in Kampala. And says, yeah, that sister of mine is doing a great job. And
thank you.
Just like most Nigerians come here and you know, involved in many things, but we love the fact that she's trying to make the West African culture quite very eminent in Kampala. We enjoy it, we love it. One question for me, for Linda, will she ever go back to law? Because we think she's just practicing this because there is no room for her to go back to law. Yes. Are you going to leave this thing and go back to law, or you'll continue?
Like I said, I never left law.
Yes.
Right? I'm not 100% engaged in law as I was in the beginning, right? So the plan is, because I'm operations director at the Bite of Benin, is for the manager to take it and run with it. And you see, that's where the transformation happens. They're actually able to hand over your vision, right, of the Bite of Benin to a team that will run with it. Once you do that, the transformation is complete.
Wow.
Yeah.
One more question, Linda. Thank you very much, Eddie Okela, for bringing Linda to the show. And you got about 200 questions coming from Nigeria. I can't read all of them, guys.
Pidgin English there.
Yes. But I'm going to try this one out. So this is coming from somebody, a Nigerian based in London, Eastern London. He's saying, thank you very much. I didn't know that there's a Nigerian in Uganda actually making us proud. We Nigeria will take over whenever we go.
Not the talk that one, no.
Yes. And but our question is very interesting. It says, I love what my sister there is doing. Eddie, I just want to know from her. She's not talked about the goat we eat with the skin, with the you know. She need to sell. That is the real, true Nigerian food. Ugandan Mazana.
Yes. So thank you very much. So
this goat here we eat. How do you eat a goat with skin, Linda?
Oh, how not?
No.
You just no. You use your cutlery cutout and you eat it. Yes. So for us, when we make,
she's saying that is a real traditional West African food.
Yes.
That's scary.
It's not. But you see, that's the thing, right? If you're open about food, and I'll tell you this, for me, I'm always willing to try new food.
Yes.
As long as I know the ingredients. Which is why when you come to the Bite of Benin, our menu is descriptive. Okay? Which is why I've written in there mururuza or bitter leaf, so you know instantly, okay, this is happening. Then okay, so like we have eforiro, right?
Yes.
Eforiro is a one-pot flavorful soup, right? With spinach in it. It has everything inside. It has tripe, it has cow skin, it has offals. Yes, we do use that, right?
But yo, sister, cow skin.
Yes.
Okay, you know how cow skin were to
No. You see, they always ask me, well, we use it to make leather. We eat in Nigeria. We eat half.
You're eating her shoes.
No, we eat half of the cow skin. We make leather with the other half. But it's
only in Nigeria.
Only West Africa.
Yeah, only West Africa special.
So, and you see, even the cow tail, we get the cow tail with the skin. I don't know. I've lost count of how many times I've laughed.
Yes.
Cow skin or rather, no, oxtail.
Yes.
With the skin on. Yes, it's delicious. Yes. The goat pepper soup, we make it with the skin. Now that is where you get the real flavor of the goat, or as we say in Nigeria, the perfume. You know, the perfume you know, and we do what we call, so sometimes we actually roast the whole goat.
Yes.
So before COVID, or rather as I tell people, there's BCC, which is before COVID and curfew. There's DCC, which is during COVID and curfew, which is where we're at now.
Yes.
I'm sincerely praying for
so you're not looking for after COVID.
Thank you, and curfew, right? So we used to have concerts at the Bite of Benin. We had one every month from September. It was quite popular. One Friday a month, right? And we'd have this huge goat at the back. Somersaulting, my Nigerian would know, somersaulting goat, somersaulting chicken, you know? Yes. And it was absolutely lovely. With COVID, curfew and all, the world has changed, right?
Yes.
So, excuse me. We're trying to see how to get back on track. Okay, how do we get back on track? We've been literally, it's a dance.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure I remember I told you the other day. I said each time there's a lockdown, we don't reopen, we restart. And I'm just wondering how many times we're going to restart. So we've gone from hanging on by our fingernails to now by our fingertips, and the muzzle pull is becoming a bit heavy. You know. One of the things that has helped, and I think I mentioned this to you, for us to get in towards something. There's an organization I think I mentioned to you. It's called BNI. I think you should have a word with them. It's called Business Network International. We joined in June, and it's a network for business owners. Yeah. It's global, and it is working. Okay, so for us, it's bringing us, or rather helping us, to come back to a new bite of Benin, because the old normal has gone. We're not going back to. So each time someone says we're going, oh, the new normal, there's no new normal. It's a new way of doing business, right? So a new way for you also to do business is come and chop that goat pepper soup skin on it.
But I want to just wrap up the show with somebody just called me, sent me a message here, and I just want to read this quite quickly. And he's saying it's a private message. I mean, people like to send private messages, and so he's saying, Edio Killer, thank you so much. I have a comment. There's a number of comments on YouTube. I'm just going to go to YouTube, guys, and to all the guys on Twitter. Thank you very much, first of all, for following the show. I want to take you straight to some of these comments that are coming on YouTube, which are very interesting. But one of them, somebody saying, "Can Linda please explain to us what really is making the goat with pepe with the skin means?" Do these guys eat the goat with the skin? This is the reason why we have shortage of skin, of leather. I have one coming from Mediwato Chom. Law and food are a good mix after all. There is a growing jurisprudence on the right to food. Anyway, anyone needs to diversify their income streams regardless of their professions. Good job, Linda. That's coming from Mediwato Chom. And then he goes on to say he's a lawyer. I mean, he's a land right.
When he said jurisprudence, I knew yeah.
And he says, I will come for a West African food experience soon to support your business, Linda. Thank you very much. I have another question coming from another person here who says, Edio Killer, thank you very much. Could you please ask that lady, what do they exactly mean they prepare goat with the skin or cow with the skin? How do you eat a cow with the skin? What happened to the...
I see this is now becoming that... Okay.
So I know Amos Wekesa is curious. When we met with Amos Wekesa, he said he wants to come for
I know.
Amos, you want to go and eat the goat with the skin. I mean, how are you going to do this?
I'm laughing my head off now.
So how is this prepared? People want to know how it's prepared. Uganda is actually very stunned right now. I got so many messages, 500 messages on Messenger. Guys, I can't read these messages. This is hilarious.
Guys, can we do this?
Yes.
You guys, Eddie and I will work out a date. Yes. We'll have the goat somersaulting with the skin. No, but serious. Okay, so when we cook with the goat with the skin, right?
Yes.
And then you cook without the skin. There's a difference. The flavor, right? The perfume, as we call it. It actually becomes more intense in the sauce or in the soup. So we're eating good. I'll give you an example. The other day, a group of Nigerians were visiting, and he had ordered for egusi goat. So as I'm wont to do, I walked around. I usually get feedback from clients who are at the restaurant, and I asked if he was okay. And he sort of kept quiet. So I now switch over and I said, bros, talk to me now. What's in the happen? So he said, hey, now they talk. I said, how far? He said, that goat egusi. I said, what about it? He said, it didn't taste like egusi goat. I said, I know, because we didn't cook the goat meat in the egusi soup. So when you cook the goat with the skin in the sauce, right, it imparts a particular flavor to it. They can quickly identify and say, this is goat. Okay? So for us, that is it. You can take it out, but really and truly, West African will ask you, who did I offend that you're bringing to me without this? I bet who I offend.
All right. Wow. Linda, thank you so much. So what is the one last word we can pick from you going forward? If you just look into this camera and just tell us the three things we should pick from you, crossing from law, like Diwato Choma said, to, food. And he says with all these food rights coming, we need a lawyer to be in that space to sort of like understand the, the cross mix between the two. But we just want to know from you, what are those three things you want to leave us with here about our culture? Africans are not very proud of our culture. West African people are very proud of their culture. The East African people are not very proud of their culture. Why? Also because we have, take for example in Uganda, we have too many, cultural diversity because of the 54 tribes. Everybody has a language, everybody has a food, which is a plus, but also is a minus at some time because we then don't learn from other people. We tend to be very strict with what we have here. What is that one thing that you want us to learn from a cross-cultural point of view? Food, law, and that one thing you want to leave us with? Somebody who is stuck in their corporate job, somebody who doesn't know how to go out and become very diversified like Linda. The camera is all yours.
Open to learning, I think, is what I would say. And open to learning cuts across, whether it's culture, whether it's in a corporate organization, whether it's personal, right? You say 54 tribes in Uganda. Yeah. Should I say how many were in Nigeria?
Yes.
It's in the 200s and counting.
Yes.
For example, okay, what I see, especially in West Africa, and I see this among a lot of my friends, even family growing up, you walk into somebody's house, right, and they're cooking jollof rice, and you're like, that thing is banging, or what did you put inside? It could just be a different ingredient. Like my sister, for example, she taught me how to use tons of onions in my jollof rice. So that the onion will sweeten the tomatoes and cuts across the acidity. It's always in either the technique or a particular ingredient you've added. And why am I saying this? It's, you're open to learning. It will cut across, whether it's culture, whether it's food, whether it's a person, whether it's in your personal life, corporate, whatever, open to learning. That's the word I'll use. I mean, look at a toddler or a young kid, for example. They're not afraid to learn. They're not afraid to ask questions. If we as adults sort of get back to that, we'll be open to tasting other foods from other cultures, open to go to the skin on, open to pepper soup.
All right. Thank you very much, Linda, for coming to the program today. I want to say thank you very much, everybody, for sharing your love and kisses and disses. I know we are not able to read all your comments, and of course, because of the time, but also we love you that way. You know, keep sharing. We'll definitely be sampling some of them, and Linda will definitely come back. I've seen a lot of requests from your sisters. A lot of Nigerians are saying that you should just be coming here every single Friday. Talk about their food and making their culture, you know, come out of Africa. So this is a nice thing.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Linda, for coming. We want to just take a moment to spread love. We always do this.
Like this.
Yes.
No, no, you did it well. You have to put ginger inside.
Not do it properly like this, though.
With ginger inside. No, thank you, Eddie. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really loved engaging with you on this, and your pepper soup bowl is waiting.
I'm coming, Oga, now.
You know the pepper soup bowl.
I'm going to go now.
So Eddie will tell you guys how the goats with the skin pepper soup went.
Yes.
I shall film him.
In fact, Amos Wekesa is coming to join. I think Wekesa wants to
try that out.
2 goats with the skin.
And it is on.
Yes,
it is on.
He said it is gone. So we're going to try this. Wekesa Amos is going to be a guinea pig. If he dies, we know that he has eaten the goat with the skin.
No. He shall, if that happens, he shall be going to food heaven. I promise you. I promise you.
Well, Linda, let's toast to the CEO bench. Thank you very much.
No,
and to everybody, we want to say thank you and welcome. Please enjoy your coffee. And until next week, we want to stay blessed and keep yourself safe from the dangers of this world. Don't go with COVID-19. Some things are real, some things are not, but stay focused. The CEO bench has come to an end. Until next week, stay blessed. Eddie Okila, Linda, signing out.
final games coming to an end. We're waiting for the playoffs, and from nothing at the beginning of the year to a lot of basketball towards the end of the year. Today, with me to discuss is the coach of Livingstone Basketball Club, based in Makerere University, Mr. Eric Matovu. Very welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Eti.
Yeah, it's very good to have you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I know that coaches have a very busy schedule, standing in the sun from morning and all these things, but thank you for coming through.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Eti.
Every time we call coaches, I know that sometimes you have busy schedules, but just taking enough time to come and discuss the game of basketball and the development of the game in Uganda is a very good thing. Going through your profile, I know that before, you ended up with the Livingstone Basketball Club.
Yeah, true.
You were coaching the Lioness, that's the girls.
Yeah.
You also coached Watoto.
Yes,
I also know that you have a basketball academy that you're working with. So your life is basically filled with basketball. So you wake up, eat, sleep,
we live and breathe basketball.
So outside basketball, right? Is there any other job you do, or it's 100%?
I think it is 100% basketball. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I'm a teacher at British School of Kampala, and I'm a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So apart from that, also another job that I do it's a full-time job. I'm a married man.
Yeah.
So I call it a full-time job. I'm so proud of it. So I think basically that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you ever think, this is what I want to do with my life? Because I know that our parents tell us, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, and then you ended up somewhere being a basketball coach, which in Uganda is not seen as a very serious thing.
Absolutely.
So what was it like for you growing up? What did you think you'd actually become?
I dreamt of being a pilot,
and
that's why I did MEG at A level. Ended up doing a lot of accounts. I'm an accountant, but you see, this world will push you to ends that you won't even think of. Absolutely. So I chose my passion, and I'm pursuing it passionately. So we live and breathe basketball, and it's what we're doing. That is what is bringing bread on the table. To me, I am enjoying it. It is so nice. It is so nice.
That's interesting. So talking about your basketball journey, you've coached a couple of teams, especially in the lower divisions. What was your experience like? What was your first experience coaching? I remember my first experience was they just threw me out there in the deep end and said, that's the team you're coaching. And I had very little knowledge about basketball. At that time, I was just more of a player, not a coach. But I had to learn really quick, how to become a coach and a player at the same time, So how was it for you? How did you end up? Where was that start of your coaching career?
Oh, I started with matching the shooters, and to be honest with you, I built them from scratch, and up to first division. We worked with Roger Seronyugo, and we brought it up. But to be honest, it was a roller coaster. It is a whole lot of learning. When you start to coach. And I believe basically that it is you, the coach, who learns more, even the players that you're coaching, more than the players that you're coaching. So it really humbled me, and it made me become a man. I usually tell my players that, if you want to be the greatest player out there, you've got to behave like a servant. If you don't have humility with you, and you don't have the discipline to push you, you cannot go any far. Those are the things that will push you. I tell them, I usually use one phrase, that you see all these accolades, the degrees, the profiles that you have in life, they will take you somewhere. But can they sustain you there? I don't think so. So it is your character at the end of the day that is going to sustain you in that place. I always tell them, if I call for a training session and I tell you be in at 3 or 4, why don't you be there earlier, 15 minutes to time or 30 minutes to time, and the coach finds you when you are good to go. You are ready. You put in some work already. That shows that you know what you want in life. So it is a very, very learning experience, Mr. Eti. It humbles you, and it makes you become a leader in life.
Interesting. So it's always exciting to know the journey of a coach, where they started from and where they are now. And every coach has their own philosophy. Some maybe you copied from someone else, but what has been your coaching philosophy throughout this time that has carried you basically to this much success? Because different coaches have different philosophies. So what is that philosophy for you as a coach?
Me as a coach, my philosophy is literally, a mixture of very many.
Yeah.
I'll look at very many coaches. I'll look at very many coaches from the university. I'll look at the mountains. I'll look at very many coaches abroad. I'll look at Phil Jackson. I'll look at this one. I'll look at this one. Then I'll come up with my own.
Yeah.
I won't say that I have a definite philosophy because different players react differently to different philosophies. You may carry a philosophy, but it won't work for certain players.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust as a coach. You have to know who your players are. What are they able to pull up and do? You won't say, I'm so rigid that this is me, my philosophy is I only play a transitional game.
Yeah.
A transitional game, and that is what I'm going to do. So you find players who cannot run. So what are you going to do? But they are very good on the ball, but they can't run, they're not athletic. So won't your philosophy change?
Yeah.
So I'm a combination of very many different philosophies from different coaches,
Yeah.
and I usually execute my philosophy according to the players that I have in that structure or in that program at a particular time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of coaching, the coaching fraternity in Uganda has always had a lot of pressure on them. We've had FIBA instructors coming in to take coaches through certain clinics here and there, but it's never really more than a month. Okay, and I believe that you can't really learn everything about coaching basketball within a month. Okay, and in some instances, people say that our coaches are not that good, they're not that experienced. Take an example of the Silverbacks. We had to go outside Uganda to get 2 coaches to come and help with the national team. Okay, so what's your comment on coach development? Okay, we'll talk about player development later, but coach development in Uganda, where are we lacking, and what do we need to do to make better coaches actually in the country, so that we can grow this game of basketball?
I think we are somewhere right now. I think we have very many coaches that are really experienced. I'll be honest with you, and I believe we do even have coaches that have reached the level 3 of FIBA, not per se on level 1 or level 2. They have a lot of experience, but it's just because of the structures that have been in place. The structures have not were not on our side to be there and exposed and get these certifications and all the things. But I can assure you, Mr. Ete, that we have very many coaches that are really doing a very tremendous job out there. Very many coaches. When you look at the time they're putting in, the resources that are available on the table for them to execute whatever they're doing, I think we are somewhere. I'm just curious if we had the same resources like people abroad, I think would be far. People are so passionate about this game. People love this game. They literally do basketball a lot. So at the end of the day, there isn't so much difference between them and us right now. Honestly, I don't believe even that we should be jumping so much on players from abroad and all that. The players here can do the job. They can do the job. It's just because maybe we're getting a little bit ambitious and all that. But what I know is with time, even our players, homegrown players, we're going to be having them on the national team and they'll be representing like 90%. 90%. So we have very many good players. Very many players are coming through, and it's a good job that they're doing.
So during the time of the Silverbacks, when they were playing the tournaments in Rwanda at the AfroBasket, there was a group of people that believed that we should actually have only homegrown talent on the Silverbacks team. And yet others were of the view that it's okay to bring players from outside. Okay, some of them, if they're actually Ugandan, some who are naturalized. Okay, so which camp were you in?
I would say I'm Ugandan a little bit, even myself, but the dynamics change, Mr. Eti. When you look at the players that are coming in, who are playing from abroad, the Ishmael, the Opongos, the Wad, I think they added a lot of value to our team. Let's be honest. But it doesn't mean that we won't get there, even homegrown talent. There. But you look at the confidence, the way they were playing and all that, they added a lot of value on our team. So we can't take it for granted. We still needed them. Yeah, we do. We do. It was a very good addition to have them.
Yes. Backtrack a bit. Still talking about coaches. You do realize that in Uganda right now, if I'm to say, there are about 3 female coaches and only 1 in the NBL. Yeah, Coach Mavita. Yeah. So do we have a situation whereby there is we're not encouraging the ladies enough to get into coaching, or the ladies just don't want to get into coaching because of certain issues here and there? Some people say that ladies do not want to get into coaching because the emotional side takes the best of them.
Because they're driven by intuition all the time, that's what we're saying. But the truth be told, I'll be honest with you, I think the ladies have been laid back so much. They've been given chances. I mean, even National Council of Sports calls for very many ladies courses, and they've been given chances even to improve their administration skills and all the things. Template that we are on also eating from. It's just because, and we have very many who have played the game, but you see most of them the moment they go into other institutions like marriages and all that, they tend to be caught up so much, and they won't have the freedom that we have. Most of us, we can juggle here and there, but the ladies most of the time realize that, you know what, there is so much on their plate, they have to do this, they have to do that. That's why most of the time they don't evolve in the game like how we are evolving in the game.
Okay, interesting.
But given more resources, given more structures, more encouragement, and from the federation, you see the federation is also trying, it's doing its part. So I think we'll have the numbers. We'll do have the numbers, absolutely.
Speaking of the federation, I actually wanted to jump there next. For the whole year actually on this show, okay, we've been trying to analyze the different problems that the federation has, okay, and one of the biggest issues we saw was the issue of finances, because if you look at the campaign of the Silverbacks, you know, the qualifications for AfroBasket, then the saga that happened with them in Rwanda, where they didn't have enough finances to even pay for, you know, the hotels, okay, so according to you, you've been in Ugandan basketball for a while. You know, I know that you have a perspective that you need to give. You have a different kind of analysis. What are some of those problems that you see FUBA as a federation is facing in Uganda, and why have we really failed to develop that much as other nations in Africa? Yet, we have actually one of the best leagues in the African region. Okay, so what are some of those problems that FUBA has that has limited the growth of basketball in Uganda?
I think if we do not nail down a concrete sponsorship package, I think that is where all our problems are starting from. I remember way back we used to have MTN, and they could give us jerseys and you know, this airtime. Remember those days, when you used to play for that airtime, that passion, you know, playing for that airtime. You know, it was a small package, but it was coming in. And then, you know, Airtel comes in and everything changes. Then we start to miss out the jerseys and everything. So I think we need a concrete sponsorship. I think all our problems are starting from the finances bit. So if FUBA can get some sponsorship, then I think our league will be the best in Africa.
Way better.
Will be way better.
Yeah, but I mean, one can argue that we actually had sponsors. There's a time MTN was on board. There's a time Tascalite was on board. We had Airtel on board at a certain point, you know, but we ended up losing, you know, all these sponsors. And right now, I think the game of basketball actually does not have a sponsor. Apart from the last year's playoffs where UAP came and actually sponsored the playoffs. Apart from that, you know, we lost all the sponsors.
Absolutely.
Okay, so...
And it's affecting us, especially us who are dealing in the lower league a lot. It is really so hard on the people running these teams, the managers and everyone. They have to meet here, chip in for transport for players, you know, allowances and all that. It is really a hassle. So we need sponsorship in the lower division.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials. I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Remember Prince?
So, distinguishing prose poetry and drama.
Yes.
This is an academic question.
Yes.
So let me just be frank with it. So we have literature. Literature can easily simply be defined as the creative expressions of a given culture, of a given people. And it is normally done through writing, through singing, through speaking. Now, literature is that creative expression that focuses on the written word. As you hear the word itself, literature, literate, meaning to write. Now, we are going to restrict ourselves to three things. So we talked about prose, we talked about poetry, we talked about drama. Now, prose is that kind of creative expression that is more elaborate. It is more elaborate. So if you're reading a novel, if you're reading a short story, if you're reading a biography, that falls within if you're an essay, that is in a form of prose. Now poetry is more rhythmic. It is briefer, and in most cases we use a lot of descriptive and colorful language. So if you look at a novel and a poem, what a novel can say in 200 words, a poem can say in 1 page. Now, those are the differences between the poetry.
That's the difference between these.
Yes. Now, when it comes to drama, the way you hear the word, drama is language in action. Language in action. So drama is that kind of written literature where you capture characters talking. But from what they talk, for you the reader or the listener, you can infer what is taking place. So drama is always takes place when characters are either talking to themselves or they're talking to others.
Welcome back to the program. My name is Eddie Okela. This is the Creative Industry Talk. We're talking about the 2022 challenges that are for the independent creative minds in the art industry right there on the screen. And we're talking about people in events, supply chain. And of course, are they ready to open up for the events to resume in 2022? As January draws nearby on 24th, the government has talked about it, and we want to know from Jude. Jude, welcome back to the program. We want to just, when we went to a break, somebody has sent a message here. It says, Jude, thank you very much for advocating and saying that we need to, streamline our business going forward, which I agree with you. But then sometimes when you streamline, URA just looks at tax. Sometimes they even charge you tax when you have not earned. How do we go about it when you have not earned and URA is, pumping you with a lot of requests for you to pay tax? And this would say, for example, in 2022, no audiovisual company was working. We did not work for a whole year. But when I calculate the amount of tax invoice, that the amount of request to pay tax from URA is amounting to over 40 million shillings in the year 22. Are these guys not seeing that we're not working, or there's something wrong? Can Jude clarify how was he able to deal with that? Or they're using the Judes as a benchmark for everyone in the because Jude said he was working. Yes.
I think that goes down to just keeping books of accounts. Yeah. Just like any business, you need to have records. You need to have books of accounts. If you feel that you are not good at that game, get someone to do it for you. Get an auditor, get an accountant, just to do the basic bookkeeping for you. In the times when you get an assessment like that and you're really disputing that information, that's when they come over to you, you have something for your defense. But if they give you an assessment and you have nothing to defend yourself over, then I think you really get problems. So just just keep your books straight.
Okay.
Yeah, as we said, you need to formalize your business. Move it from the point of briefcase level. Yeah, you'll be looked at as someone who is serious, not just a briefcase company.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jude, as we wind up the show, we're going to the last part of the show, and I want to just take you straight to this question, which normally, we would ask if we've been in the limbo for some time or sleeping for some time. The audiovisual company has been in that space for some time. Do you think that there is enough funds to start or to open up? Are there any support funds for the independent arts in creative in your category? Do you think, because we've been hearing government saying there's some, do you think there is?
Well, talking about the funds bit, I as Jude Sempepo of Legacy, I don't represent any of those government bodies or institutions that give out those recovery or handout funds, to revive the economy. So I'm not from a position where I can give a word on that. But opening up the economy, I'm very optimistic that the market and demand out there is quite so much for everyone to get back onto their feet. Yeah. When you look at the pure, I'll call it the informal sector of AV production, entertainment, the bivulus and all of that, the whole of Uganda is yearning. People right now already booking dates of February, March, Valentine's, some stations even already advertising Valentine's dinners and things like that. Yeah. So that is a very wide market there.
So do you think that industry have money? The corporate, what we're talking about, the funds in the industry, the corporates are ready, like what you've said, that they're already booking for Valentine's and all these things. So there is money.
Now, it's the informers, one of the corporates, are already warming up to spend money. To go out. You've been seeing people being caught in bars and where, because they're yearning for entertainment. Now, on the formal side, the corporate side, that is even far much bigger. Remember I told you that the corporate sector, the market tripled. Because even those companies which never used to respect good quality productions, now they want to be seen looking good out there. Why? Your image is no longer being seen by 200 people in one room. It's being seen by over 1 million people out there. 50 in one room and 1 million are online. So you can't afford to put out a bad image of yourself. So you can imagine that boom bust and all of that. So once all sectors are open, the formal and informal, the market out there is going to be humongous. And I'm sure everyone is going to smile. Everyone is going to smile. The cake out there is so big. Just make yourself relevant to the end people, and you'll partake on that.
Wow. Well, Jude, thank you very much. Last question. Are the professionals still there, or many have left, the jobs? Because we're hearing that so many people closed down, so many people ran away. Do you still have the audiovisual professionals around, or we're going to have only Legacy and Jude and a few of them who are going to be overwhelmed when the industry basically opened? Are they still there? Do you think people are still there, or they are not there?
They could be down, but they're not out.
Okay.
Our industry is creative. Something which is creative is cultured in within you. Most of it is naturally born. Even if it took 10 years without riding a bicycle, once they put it in front of you, you'll figure out a way of balancing it and you ride it. So even if some of our people are out right now, you haven't been hearing about them, once the gates are open, all of them are going to come alive. So
there'll be new players also coming.
And there are also going to be new players. Yes, some people have taken the hits from the bank and all of that, but given time, everyone is going to come back onto the scene. This is creative art. When it's creative art, it just dies with you, in you. That is, if you haven't spilled it out to teach it to other people out there. So I don't believe that people are down and out. Let the gates open. You will see the forces of entertainment.
Wow. Thank you very much. I hope that you've been following the show. And of course, we've gotten to a point where we want to say a last word coming from Jude. And it's been Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela. Jude, your last word before you go. What should be the 3 things that you want to leave us with on the Creative Industry Talk today?
The first is relevance. The second is perseverance. Perseverance. You have to hang in there. Not all days. We've persevered through all this time. So, we don't know what could happen again. So we have to persevere. The third Giving me options. What can I choose as my third? Discipline. Individual discipline. Discipline takes in a lot. Integrity, self-growth, credit management, XYZ.
Wow. Well, you've heard from Jude, and we thank you for having Jude on the show today. Jude, thank you very much for coming to the show today.
Welcome,
and for giving us opportunity to be able to talk to the wider audience of people out there who are yearning for this. The Creative Industry Talk exists to bring creative minds together, and a platform for us to share ideas, for us to speak to one another, and also speak to the clients out there, and share information, but also bring people who are in the policy making to join us in this conversation to say, what can we do that makes it better? I know people have been saying that the industry doesn't exist. We still have a sector. And we're saying, yes, we need to graduate the sector into the industry and make it an industry. And thank you very much for thinking creatively to making sure that you stay afloat. A lot of people have closed down. Just to close the show, I want to run you through a couple of pictures that we have there on the screen. And you tell us whether these are some of the pictures of 2022, 2019. Let's talk about that. I see, legacy.
2022.
2022. Wow. And this is due
4 days ago.
Creative things you're talking about.
4 days ago, yeah.
Wow. And let's go to the next picture and we'll check it out. So you actually been talking about these things. So these are the creative ways that you're talking about.
Yes, creative ways.
Yes.
Shedding skin.
Yes.
Helping clients get to the bigger audiences out there, getting them relevant even when people can't get together.
Yes. And let's talk about this. Are these a new investment, a new 2022?
2022.
I can see you are chilling with the big boys.
Yes, chilling with the big boys. They're empowering students into taking in the banking culture.
Okay.
Yes, taking the banking culture.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this one here, these are the new creative ideas I talk about.
Yeah, that was a digital security conference.
Okay.
Digital security conference, which had a limit. As you can see, there are quite few seats. It had a limited physical attendance, but humongous online audience.
Okay.
Yes.
And talking about this,
this just happened also about 5 days ago. We had the Economic Growth Forum, whereby Ministry of Finance was paving forward the ways in which the government is going to get afloat over the next 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so it is possible that, like Judas said, that it's true, that it's possible. We have to praise the Lord here and close the show. Jude, thank you very much for coming to the show. And to all of you guys up there online, we want to say thank you very much for being part of the Creative Industry Talk, going bigger and better. We miss Faizo Chiwewa today, is up at the State House in the Lunkulu, in his small hut there called State House. And we hope that we'll be able to see Faizo next week on the show. And to all of you guys who sent us your kisses and disses, thank you very much. Please share it far, wide, and subscribe to be part of the Creative Industry Talk, going big and better. Bigger and better. This is the Creative Industry Talk. Eddie Okila, Jude Sempebwa of Legacy Production, signing out. Until next time. Bye.
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups. For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. You know, baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to their mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. How are you doing? Is it morning? Is it evening? Wherever you are, that doesn't matter. It is time for coffee. And like I said last week, in the UK they say anytime is tea time, but here on House of Talent Television we say that anytime is coffee time. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials, that is on Twitter at HTV1, or you can go to our Facebook at House of Talent TV Uganda, or you can go to our website houseoftalenttvug.com, or you can catch us on YouTube at House of Talent UG. Live stream, make sure that you catch the show, and if you know there's a barista, there's a roaster, there's a farmer who should be watching this right now, let them know, tag a friend, share it far and wide. Well, today in the studio with me, I have a man who is a roast master. He's a double certified barista. I don't know how someone gets double certified, but we're going to get to know more about that. He's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he has more than 5 years experience in the coffee industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Chibuka Lawrence. Lawrence, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation to come here. I know that it's not an easy thing because on Saturdays people actually always want to rest. I know that the week can always be long, but thank you for coming. Just to start off, what does it mean to be a double certified barista?
Okay, first of all, it's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting me. I was eager to come here.
Yeah.
Okay, Chibuka Lawrence, as you said. Most of my friends know me as Barista Reno. Yeah, that's the industry name. Okay, to be double certified, it means you have the barista skills and the barista knowledge.
Okay.
Plus also an extra knowledge of coffee brewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it means to be double certified.
Yeah.
So are there people in the industry who are just certified, like a single certification?
Yeah, many of them.
Yeah. So people actually need to up their game and get into a double certification. Also, on your resume or your CV, okay, it says that you're a roast master.
Yeah.
In the world there, when someone says a roast master, it goes into comedy, like roasting someone. But what does it mean to be a roast master when it comes to coffee?
Okay, when it comes to coffee, to be a roast master, it means you specialized in roasting coffee.
Yeah.
So you understand the bean itself.
Okay.
How to turn it from green to a consumable product.
Okay. Yeah. All right, before we get into all the roasting, I know people are very eager to know what roasting is, the process of roasting, how does one become a roaster, okay? We just want to get to know more about you. We know that you're Chibuka Lawrence,
yes,
roast master, double certified, mentor, trainer, all these things, but who are you when you're not doing coffee?
Okay, when I'm not doing coffee, I'm taking coffee. Okay, coffee is my life.
Yeah,
coffee is my life. Starting from years back, I was in janitoring, what we call housekeeping, in some hospital there. But I got a friend, a bro.
Yeah.
So he told me about this coffee stuff. So I tried to catch an interest in it.
Yeah.
So from there, I've never done anything else apart from coffee.
Right.
So it rescued me from where I was. So when I'm not in coffee, I'm taking coffee.
So coffee was kind of like your salvation.
Yeah.
Okay. So still apart from that, what do you do on the weekends? Do you watch football, play football? Do you do research? You know, what kind of hobbies do you have as a person?
Okay, as a person, I watch football.
Yeah.
Also keep myself like updated.
Okay.
Updated.
Yeah.
Like I make more research.
All right.
That's why I keep upgrading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In coffee. So in football, which team do you support?
Manchester United.
So Manchester United, Arsenal, all in the same boat, you know?
Yeah.
People are saying that Ole should go. Are you of the same view? You think he should stay? With the bad record they're having right now, you think it's okay?
It's okay. Today you're having a bad record, tomorrow
Yeah.
you're up.
So you guys are hoping that.
Yeah.
It's always good to have diehard fans. We had an Arsenal fan here sometime, and you know he was of the same perspective. Yeah, but anyway, this is not a football show. This is a coffee show. So, getting into roasting more, I believe that you were first a barista.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was it at that point that you decided and said, you know what, I just don't want to be a barista. I want to be a roaster also. What pushed you more into the roasting bit?
Okay. It's not that I didn't want to be a barista.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to upgrade. As I've told you, like I keep myself upgrading.
Yeah.
But it reached a time when you research about like the skills, the coffee skills, where youths are,
Yeah.
like of my age, they're in baristering.
Yeah.
And there are few roasters. So there was a need for someone to enter in that sector and also inspire others, because it requires a lot of reading, a lot of research than the practical.
Okay.
So I had to enter in that sector.
You had to open the way for others, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about roasting, okay, we know that the coffee chain basically starts all the way from the seed getting into the ground, the farmer, all the way to the cup. Okay, somewhere in the middle there you have different people who play different parts. Okay, you have the roasters, the baristas, the quality control, the graders, and all this. So when it comes to you, the roaster, okay, I believe that you have to pick a certain kind of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start our process from there. Okay, you go to a farmer and say, I'm a roaster. Okay, how do you pick the kind of coffee that you, a roaster, would like to work with?
Okay, that's a nice question. Okay, as a roaster, when we are studying, we start from the seed.
Okay.
That's where the complicated part is.
Yeah.
We start from the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to an institute or an academy, they start you from the ground. You do quality control. You also process. Then you cup. Then you go to the general roasting.
Yeah.
So when I go to the farmer, since I have that knowledge of the quality controller, it gets easier to choose the good quality of the beans that I'm going to roast, of the beans that I'm going to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but not leaving something behind that every coffee is good coffee, even though it is undergrade.
Yeah.
We will sell it to.
Yeah, we had a barista last week who said actually there's nothing like bad coffee.
Yeah, there's no bad coffee.
Can't even sell that one. So what does the roasting process look like? You know, from the beginning all the way, you know, to the end.
Okay, roasting process is generally like turning the green beans, or those are coffee beans, from their green state to the consumable state.
Okay.
Yeah, but it involves use of heat, use of mind, use of eyes, the nose, and concentration.
Okay, so I believe that there are certain steps that you have to take, okay, in the process. I was reading there are about 3 steps, okay? Yeah. So what are these steps that you have to take as a roaster for you to get the beans to where you want them to be?
Okay, first of all, we have what we call the variables. Like, there is what we call the changes, before you go to the steps, the changes that have to be in your mind. First of all, you roast with your passion.
Yeah.
You have to put your passion in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to make sure you're in a secure place. Your fire extinguisher is there. Your gas is already there, and the machine. So the steps are, you switch on electricity first. The machine, you switch on the electricity first. Then you switch on your gas.
Yeah.
And wait it to heat up. You wait for the machine or the drum to heat up to a certain temperature. Then you decrease it a little bit. Then you put your beans inside.
Yeah. So, talking about temperatures, okay? I believe that when you're roasting, there are different kinds of coffee that you will get. Okay, you'll get the light roast, you know, you'll get the medium roast. Okay, so what are these different temperatures that you have to put into consideration when you're roasting?
Okay. First of all, let me highlight this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me first advise my friends.
Okay.
We have the specific like temperatures, the numbers that were written in books, but we are different people, different minds and different passion.
Yeah.
When you conquer that machine, when you're the one driving that machine, there's a way you concentrate on the coffee more than the temperature.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have to be down and they don't have to be so high. So it requires the mind, not the specific temperature reading. Like we are in a specialty world, world where we have now to appreciate the work of our farmers. The world where we need to get that sweetness from that particular bean. So if you concentrate on the digits, the temperature digits, you will miss what the farmer did. So we put our minds on the changes of the beans from state to state, not the temperatures.
Okay.
But we don't leave them aside. We just balance the temperature.
Okay.
We balance the temperatures. So it's like misleading someone if I tell you 180 degrees Celsius. In 4 minutes this one will happen. And if you do that and it doesn't happen, I'll be the liar. So you have to use your mind, you have to use your cupping skills so that you get the best out of that coffee. Even though it's light, medium, dark, you just have to use your mind, your cupping mind. Yes. You see the changes, you feel the aroma, like those fumes from the coffee. Then you see the color.
Okay.
So these are the major parts. The eyes, the nose, and also you keep testing.
So with what you're saying that roasting is actually a combination of science and art. Okay. So the art part comes in with, I think, experience. Okay, because if you get a first-time roaster, you will be so worried about the digits and the time. Because in school they'll tell you, you know what, this degrees for this amount of time, you know, so they will be so focused on that. So what you're saying is that you should have passion, and that passion should drive you towards, you know, what you're roasting, and it will come out in, I believe that when you do that, it will come out in your own kind of way. Okay, so with roasting, there are certain recipes, okay, that you come up with. All right. If you could just tell our viewers which are some of these recipes that you can come up with, what are some of these aromas that you can come up with when you're roasting, and what kind of roast will give you what kind of aroma?
Okay. Thank you for that question. First of all, what you call a recipe in roasting, like we call it the roasting curve, the profile.
Okay.
We build that roast under profiles. So we record every changes from the start to the end when we're doing sample roasting. So that curve or that profile that you do, it is your recipe. Like I don't know how to enter in that recipe because I don't want to scare my friends to join the industry. But the first thing you all do, spoil. Never get scared of spoiling. You know, when you're doing that first interview of baristering roasting, baristering you pour and
something doesn't come out. For roasting, you can burn, you can bake. But to follow that recipe, you have to spoil some beans. You have to concentrate. Yes, and you have to be with some theory. For in roasting, theory is the key, not just the machine, and
so
the barista side.
Okay, so when you have that theory of roasting, you can apply it to the practical. Okay, we're going to take a break now, but when we come back, you'll be telling me more about the aromas we can get. Our viewers, we're going to take a break right now. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. With me in the studio is Lawrence, the mentor, the trainer, the double certified barista, and is giving us more knowledge about roasting. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Working.
But
first of all, if you're passionate about what you're going to do, I believe in all work we do mistakes. So my first experience at work was when I reached at work. You have to be confident when you're doing something. Even if it's wrong, in our industry, you have to be confident. Once you're confident, you give support of it. So my first cup to make was for a customer, and I made a mistake on it because the waitress came and gave me a cappuccino single. I made it and gave it to her. Then she told me, no, the guest wanted a flower on it. I could not make a flower. So I said, what I've given you is what is supposed to go. I cannot make another cup of coffee. Please take that to a customer. If he calls me, I'll explain why. So that's how I started. But to me, when you love what you're doing, even when you make mistakes, still you will support that mistake and it will go. So I have love for the coffee, for the industry. I have love for what I'm doing, and when I'm on the station, trust me, I don't want anyone to disturb me. Even if you are the boss, once I'm in my bar, it is my turn. I wait for my shift to get done, then you can bring me coffee.
Interesting. If you're watching us, this is House of Talent, the Coffee Break. We are having some fun with Isaac and Charles here. Charles telling us about his first experience, and you're supposed to make a certain cup of coffee, which he did not do, but these are the different experiences that we have. So if you're a barista and it's your first day of the job, relax. You got this. Have some confidence. We have you here at the Coffee Break, and we're going to take a break right now. But when we return, we still have that part of we're going to brew a cup of coffee, which I believe is going to be very tasty. And we'll also be talking about how can we set up a successful coffee business, which I think very many people are trying to get into right now. So we'll take a break right now. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television.
I think most female feel like being a barista is more of a male job, or being a farmer is a male thing, or being a quality controller. Yet they don't know that there are other perfect people that we are looking at. So we want to bring this gender equality into the coffee business. I would thank this the International Women Coffee Alliance. It has really done a very good job to encourage women into the coffee business. When you look at coffee farmers or coffee processors, most of them are women. When you look at the quality controllers, they say that women are the best coffee testers. Why? Because they're very subjected to spices when they're cooking. They get a lot of flowers from us. So they test a lot of things, ice cream, yogurt, sweets, what. So they are good cup testers. Yes.
So most of them should actually, take opportunity.
I would actually encourage all the female to participate in the coffee business, whether owning a coffee shop, whether analyzing coffee, barista, farming. We really need them.
You
have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, the brew ratio is I think the most important.
Yeah.
Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of
water.
the coffee powder to water, and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much of it am I exactly? So if you don't master the brew ratio, oh, everything is going to turn out a mess. You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng, and it's lovely to have you guys here watching us. All the baristas, all the farmers, all the CEOs of the different coffee shops around town. Welcome to the show. With me in the studio is Mr. Chiruka Lawrence, who has been telling us more about himself, more about roasting, and we're going to get in depth. I know there's a couple of you who have been asking, but really, what is this whole roasting thing? Some of you go to the coffee shop and you don't even know that your coffee is actually roasted before it gets into the cup. Lawrence, welcome back to the show. Before we went for the break, we're talking about the different kind of aromas that you can actually get from roasting. But perhaps before we get into that, you know, someone asked that, because you're talking about get your gas, you know, put the beans in it, and someone was asking, but now where does the gas come in? Where does the electricity come in? Okay, so for the person out there that really wants to know what's the exact process, okay, what are those details that they need to put into consideration. For I know that people always want to try out things at home, you know, so what's the actual process of roasting? Okay, you can take us way back to, I know that there are some people who do sun drying actually, as a way of roasting theirs. Then they put it in a small cup. I believe that was done way back, you know, at the beginning of roasting, put it on a fire, and that's how it was done. But now we have the commercial way of doing it. Okay, so perhaps if you could just run us through that whole process of roasting.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, first of all, I come from the roasting family. Okay, my parents used to do like roasting way back in the local way, without using any specialized machine. Okay, to make it simple, we have many ways of roasting coffee. We can use a saucepan. We can use like what we call a chibaya. Like, I don't know how to explain it in English.
I know what you mean.
So, and we can use these equipped, like these machines from abroad. So when you're using a saucepan, you get our saucepan plus our stove. You put your beans, your green beans in that saucepan. You light up your stove or our normal sigiri, charcoal stove. Then when it's ready, you put some ash, so that the heat is not too much.
So you put the ash on the stove itself.
On the stove itself. Then you put our saucepan on that stove. So you keep mixing. You keep mixing as they are turning the color. So that's the local way of roasting our coffee. So you can try it like from home, anywhere. If you have your saucepan, your green beans, plus your sigiri. Okay. Now we have the new mechanism, the new improved machines. So those roasters, we call them drum roasters. So if you're going to use a drum roaster, you will need electricity, the drum roaster itself. You'll need this cooking gas, maybe from Total or Shell. Any gas can work. And you need, of course, an extinguisher somewhere for
just
safety.
in case.
Just in case. So, and also the green beans. So first things first, you first check like whether the machine is working before you put on your gas. before you connect any gas. Gas helps us to provide the heat to the roaster. Electricity powers on the roaster. So you first switch on your electricity, you switch on the roaster and check whether nothing happened before, like within those range of working ranges. Yeah. So after there, when everything is running normally, smoothly, then you can introduce in your gas. For gas, we open like the usual gas. We open our gas. Yeah. So after there, when electricity, you have powered on your roaster plus your gas, it will start raising in temperature. So the gas will be providing heat. So the drum will be running as it's warming up. So there are desired temperatures that we start roasting our beans, start putting our beans into the drum.
Okay.
So those temperatures start from 180 to 200 according to the coffee weight or the batch weight that you're going to roast.
Yeah.
So from there, when you reach that desired temperature between 180 degrees Celsius to 200, you can introduce in your beans. So as you introduce in your beans, the temperature of the drum will be going down because the beans are cold.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are raw. So the temperature will go down. So that decreasing temperature, it will be conducting, to be conducted to the beans. So as the drum temperature is going down, the temperature of the beans is rising. So it will reach a time when the two are equal, and that's where we get our turning point, the equilibrium point. So this is when the temperature of the beans inside the drum is equal to the thermocouples of that drum. Yes. So then after there, the two will start moving as a couple. So the temperature reading will be now reading the beans versus the drum. So within that range, now we start experiencing what you guys call aroma, those fragrance, those fumes that arise from roasting. First of all, when beans are raw or coffee beans are raw, you expect them to smell grassy, like our herbal grassy state. But as they're increasing, they'll be changing the color and the smell will be changing. So they will turn green, pale yellow. So there it will still be smelling grassy, the green state, and it is not consumable. It will still taste like sponge and taste raw. So from there, it will go to what we call the bread color or the browning. That's where the browning starts, the reddishing, and the aroma is there. They'll be smelling like the crust of the bread. If you have ever passed where there's a bakery, there's that smell of that crust. So that's where the breading part is. The bread, you can term it as the color of that crust or the smell of that crust. So from browning stage, it will start now getting our normal brown color. Now that's where you'll see that it's starting to increase on the browning stage. Then after there, it will start popping. You know how popcorns behave. That popping indicates that we are about to reach the first crack. We are about to reach the first light roast profile. It also helps us to know that the heat inside, is too much. So you have to be with all those in the mind. The heat, the crack, and the roast profile. So from there, now the coffee will start smelling like consumable coffee. Yeah, it starts smelling like consumable coffee.
Yeah.
Its color will be like cinnamon color. You know how the cinnamon looks like.
Yeah.
So from there, its acidity, if you remove it from there, its acidity will be high. Yeah, it will be high, it will be sharp in the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so after there, every change that will happen, it will be in the range of 30 seconds. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So from popping, it will be between 30 seconds to crack. To a crack is that big sound than a pop. The pop will be, the crack will be like bah. Yeah. So from there, now you're going to the medium stage, the medium roast. Yeah. So medium roast will start to smell like fruitiness, those smooth aroma, like smooth aromas. Yeah. Like the fragrances will be like frolic, or like the way your roses smell. Yeah, those flowers, those smooth, like those good flowers they smell. So in that stage, after again 30 seconds, sugars inside the beans. Did you know that coffee also has sugars?
Didn't know that, but now I do.
Okay, to summarize that, every fruit has sugars, has natural sugars. Every fruit, and coffee is also fruit. Yeah. So when you're applying heat inside there, the sugars will start to boil up. They will start to boil up. Yeah. So in that medium stage, they will be boiled up. So you will feel that sweetness of the coffee. Now you will term it as the sweet fruits, all those sweet fruits, like that sugar cane, blah blah, like anything sweet. It starts from there. So after 30 seconds, those sugars will start to burn. Then after burning, you start feeling like the molasses, the honey, like even the caramelization. Like if you have ever tasted caramel syrup. Yeah. So after burning those sugars, you start feeling that. And the body, so the coffee will start feeling like, you're taking now coffee. Yes. For light roast, you'll be like taking tea. But for medium, medium, 30 seconds after, you start feeling like, now this is coffee. So after again 30 seconds, that's where you reach the now what we call the medium high profile, or what we call the city roast, the city roast profile. So the city roast is where now you're starting now to alert yourself that you're going to spoil. Now you're decreasing on the acidity, you're increasing on the body. So all the cafes, 80%, they stop from there. That coffee that they are having, it stops from there. It will still smell like our normal fruits, our flowers is flowers from our roses, the blossoms. Since it's like it also flowers, you have to feel those. You have to feel those floral notes. So after there, after again 30 seconds, now we'll feel the second crack. The second crack now helps us to know that now you're going to the dark roast. And I don't think you want to spoil that. Okay, dark coffee is spoiling, but also on the other side, there are those guys that want that harsh coffee. Yes, that bitter coffee. Then now you're going to bitterness. Now you're exceeding the sweetness. Remember, you have burnt the sugars that they are helping us to give us those sweet notes. Now you're burning them. So in that second crack, you're in the dark roast. You're in dark roast. And for specialty coffee, we don't desire to go there.
Yeah.
You've bought your coffee expensively, like 16K, and you burn it. Yeah. So you can't burn that coffee. So, but even after 30 seconds, now the beans will start turning black. They'll be black.
Yeah.
So the coffee there will be harsh. It will be having notes of chocolate, dark chocolate, baker's chocolate. Yeah. And the acidity will be flat. The flavor will be now also going down.
Down, yeah.
Yeah. And you start feeling the burnt notes.
Yeah.
When something is burnt. Yeah. So you can target yourself from the light roast to the dark roast.
Yeah.
Then you start, like you get to know where I have to remove my beans from the drum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
So those are the steps taken.
Yeah.
When you're roasting. Another thing, after roasting, we have what we call the cooling tray. In every drum has that cooling tray.
Yeah.
So that cooling tray helps us to cool those coffee beans, so that they don't extend. Remember, when you discharge them from the drum, when you remove them from the drum, they are still like roasting up. Like since they have consumed a lot of heat. They have consumed a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So they are still warming up. So that cooling tray helps us to pause on the rise of the temperature.
Yeah.
So we pause and we bring it down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, for those of you who wanted a complete tutorial on the roasting process, I believe that you are satisfied. And if you're not satisfied, then maybe you can get into contact with Lawrence and he will pass you through. I believe that was a detailed detailed way of roasting coffee. Well, we're going to take a break right now to just give you guys time to put that in your mind, to assimilate it into your thinking so that you would know exactly what the coffee roasting process looks like. We'll be right back after this break. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, let someone out there know that the Coffee Break Show is on, and we will be back right after this. This is House of Talent Television, the Coffee Break Show with me, Emmanuel Ateng.
For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. Baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. Yeah. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pre-Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials. That's on HTV1, that's on our Twitter, House of Talent TV UG, on our Facebook, House of Talent TV Uganda.com, that's on our website, and House of Talent UG live stream, that's on our YouTube. Remember, these shows are live for you. If there's someone who needs to be watching this show, someone who needs to improve their knowledge on coffee, let them know. Share this show far and wide. Let's get coffee out there in Uganda, because we believe that it has to be out there on a bigger scale. Well, we're talking about roasting. What is roasting? Why should we even roast? Are roasters important? And these are the questions that we have been answering with Lawrence on the show. And Lawrence, welcome back. Before we went into a break, you gave us a total breakdown, of the roasting process. You brought in things that I believe that some people are still scratching their heads over here. But we had a question. Someone asked a question that, okay, fine. Now I know the whole roasting process. I can use the local method of I get a saucepan, get a stove, and roast there, or I can use the commercial kind of roasting where I have a drum and I have to keep monitoring the temperature and the time to get different aromas here and there. Okay, we have that knowledge now. Okay, but someone asked me, but why? Yeah, why do I even need to roast in the first place? Okay, can't I just get my beans and use them as they are? Okay, and also the other question was, with these aromas we're talking about, okay, can we only achieve these aromas through roasting, or there are other things that can affect it? Because even the storing of coffee can affect the type of aroma you get from it. Okay, so let's just try to answer these two questions for now.
Okay, thank you for those questions. Okay, first of all, why we roast? Do we need to roast? Yeah, of course we need to roast. Because raw coffee is an unconsumable product. We call it a raw material. And percentage of farmers are exporting it as a raw material. So if it's a raw material, it means it helps us to make something else. It helps us to take something else, to transform it to something else. So we need to roast our coffee so that it can be consumed. It's like eating raw banana. Raw matoke, these matokes. So you have to cook it so that you can eat it. Yes. So when coffee is raw, it's not coffee. It's not a consumable product. We apply heat, we cook it to the final product that is consumable. Yeah. Okay. Then the second question was, these aromas we are talking about, okay? Can we only get them through that roasting process, or are there other, other things that affect the way that the aromas will come out? Okay. There's specific places for specific aromas. Yeah. There is coffee from the east, there is coffee from the west. Of course, since they are different places, different aromas. You achieve different aromas. Yes. So that is on the part of the altitude or the region where the coffee comes from. But to achieve those different aromas, to know that this coffee comes from here, you have to again roast that coffee to get that particular aroma. Yes. So the region versus the roasting versus the output. Yes. So aroma means like that smell from something warm, from something warm. Fragrance comes from something not warm, like fumes. Now to get that aroma, it's a smell, a sensation from fumes of a broad hot substance. Yes. So you can't just achieve aroma even though you go to the peak of the mountain and be like, this is where good coffee starts from. Even though you squeeze your nose, what you'll be feeling, it will not be aroma. It will be something else. Yes.
So that's how we could get that aroma from that process. Well, switching a bit away from roasting, okay? We're going to get into the business part. Okay, I know that you're a trainer and you're also a mentor. And you're also a certified barista and a certified roast master. There's a lot of things on your CV which basically make you look very good, and it's a good thing for, I believe, that whoever is involved in the coffee industry to basically increase their knowledge and increase their CV. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, I know you work with the youth, okay? And we live in a time whereby there's very much uncertainty. You have the coronavirus that is happening now. You have the lockdown that is happening now. Of recent, you have the bombings that are going on in Kampala. And we live in uncertain times. No one really knows what's going to happen in 2022, okay? And because of that, people are losing jobs. There are people who are giving up on life, okay? Because they have no source of income, all right? But I believe that coffee itself, like how you said that coffee was your salvation. It saved you, and now you do only coffee.
Yes.
Okay, I believe that there's someone out there who's also looking for a way out. Okay, so how can we use coffee, okay, to start businesses? How do we link coffee to entrepreneurship? Because I believe that that's one of the things that you talk to the youth about. Okay, so how can we use this coffee in Uganda, all right, to start businesses, to become better at entrepreneurship, to better our lives? Okay, if I was a youth you are talking to, okay,
Yes.
what would that advice be?
Okay, my first advice to my students, the people I train, the people I talk to, is that at every stage of coffee, from the farm to the cup, you can gain something. So I first get to know, like, you as you, what's your passion? Is it going to the garden? Is it going to the factory? Or is it like being a supplier? First of all, we are working for people. We're working for people, but our dreams are being self-employed. Yes. So in coffee, if I'm mentoring you, if like I want you to get something good, improve on your life, me, I can pass through roasting. I can teach you how, like I can teach you or train you the part of coffee roasting. So within that process, you like will be making some money somewhere, and where does that money comes from? You buy your coffee, you roast, you pack it, and you sell. Of course, there are many cafes that are opening. We have our organizations here in Uganda, like they are boosting up the consumption. We have business people that are starting up cafes, but there is that gap. There's that gap of supply. There's that gap of supply. Big companies are exporting, but we can also be the big company at our youth stage. We roast our coffee, we pack it, and we sell it. Let me take another example. You can be a good person in computer graphic designing. So when I introduce that idea, you can plan the way of branding that coffee, how we can market that coffee. Yes. So we can, like, at the end of the process, me and you will be having something to put in the pocket, or to save on the account. So the reason, like the major reason as to why I train, most especially in roasting part, like I want my fellows, like to also like work for themselves. You build that knowledge. Yes, our farmers are, like, they are giving us coffee, but it's not always good to always exploit that coffee. We as the youth, we can use that coffee to be somewhere, other than exporting it. So on side of roasting, I train you how you buy the coffee and which kind of coffee you buy, and for a particular target of clients. Me, I have my big clients somewhere, though I don't want to mention the names. But they are there, and they are always asking for more and more coffee. And I think right now they're even watching. So me, my dream is for guys to be like me. We have coronavirus. Our parents are left with nothing in the pocket. Me, I did sciences and I passed, but I had no money for the university. There are guys there at the university, they don't know what's next. So we welcome them to coffee, and we get to know how the skill is going to push their lives forward. So through coffee, everything is possible. For example, the girl child concentrate more on the girl child.
I'm glad that you actually brought that up.
The girl child. Yeah. Like, though that is the gender that we all need to help faster. Because we guys, we can plan any gig and get it by the girl child. Like, we don't want our girls to be used in order to get money. But we can train them how they can earn money for themselves. A good woman in coffee is a good entrepreneur. They are our big ladies in the industry. And I think you know them.
Some of them.
Some of them. But I use those ladies as examples to the girl child when I'm training them. Like, I train them not to be hunters that have now known roasting. What's next? Now I train you to know the roasting stage and where you can get something for your pocket. Every lady that you enter in someone's office with a coffee mind, it will be like a surprise to the boss or to the person or to the customer she has gone to. So the girl child mainly, like I want the girl child to enter more in coffee. Like we want more girls in the industry. Yes. And the girl child that is a good roaster, like 5 millions abroad.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because always on the show, most of the guys we've had are actually men. Okay, and every time someone comes, I always ask them the same question. Why don't we have more girls getting into the coffee business? Let it be roasting, let it be being a barista, quality control, and all this. And like you said, there are certain few ladies who are actually doing it, but others are not really getting into it. And I know that in such times, everyone is looking for money. For the guys, you can career here and there, in Kampala, here and there. And for the ladies, we actually need to support them more. All right. There's a couple of cafes I've gone to, and every time I see a lady barista, not just one who serves, but an actual barista, okay, it always makes me happy, because I realize that now we are pushing them to a place where they need to be, okay. And to the female baristas out there, you guys are doing a good job. I want you guys to encourage more ladies, just like Lawrence has said, to get into it. You know yourselves. I would have mentioned your names, but you know yourselves, So let's encourage more ladies to get into the coffee industry. We're drawing towards the end of our show, but before we get there, all right, you've talked about the entrepreneurship bit, okay, how you train different people, not only ladies, but also men. You've talked about how these are hard times, and we really need to find a way of getting some money into our pockets, because, 2022, it's very uncertain what will happen. We might say, we are done with the lockdown and all these things, but a new wave comes, God forbid. Okay, so I believe that coffee is something that will keep on going. Okay, whether there is lockdown or not, it can't really affect coffee that much. It's like tea, you have to drink tea. Okay, and people have to drink coffee. Okay, so a country like Uganda, okay, we are trying our best to become one of the leading exporters of coffee in Africa, and also we're trying to get to a stage where Ethiopia is right now. Okay, but on the flip side, you realize that we don't consume that much coffee in our own country, being a country that actually exports a lot of it. Okay, so what are some of those things that we can do, all right, to make sure that Uganda becomes a nation that actually consumes its own coffee? Because we have, the Bubu, by Uganda, okay? So how do we get ourselves into that state where we actually, before thinking of exporting our coffee, actually get to consume our own coffee? How do we get there?
First of all, we need to train our people. So we need more training, more sensitization about coffee. Those guys that came first before us, they have that negative side of coffee, like telling someone that coffee will you will lose sleep when you take coffee. You can't. It just keeps your body awake.
Yeah.
Not only the mind. Me have to take water every morning. Yeah? So if I take water every morning, I can take like 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee and I sleep properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to sensitize our people. Yeah. And we need to give them an example that is true. Yeah. Ethiopia is a good exporter. Yeah. But quality coffee in Ethiopia comes from Migachafe. That quality coffee is consumed within the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you first appreciate what you're growing before you take it outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to train so much from the farm level. Like 80% of our farmers, they just grow, sell, but they have even never tasted the coffee. Like a much percentage, a good percentage of our farmers. So from the farm level to the general level, we need to train. That is that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Even though we put each coffee at a lesser price, like the consumption will not go high.
Yeah.
So we need to first train. Then other things will be coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
But training is the key to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we need to sensitize our our Ugandans good about coffee. Like after taking coffee, you feel this, you get this. Like we appreciate what you are growing.
Yeah.
So you see Ugandans taking more of the matoke. Like they appreciate more than sending it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So training is the key to everything.
Well, it's good that you're a trainer, and if you could actually get more trainers, together to make sure that we get to that place where we're supposed to be. Before we end the show, okay, I know that there are very many questions that we could still ask, okay, but the last question is, as a roaster, okay, how do you set yourself apart in the industry? There are many roasters out there, okay, but what would make me say, you know what, I need to go to Lawrence, So what are those things that you can do as a roaster, and perhaps to the roasters out there, to set yourself apart, to brand yourself, so that when people are looking for a roaster, they know that's the guy I should go to. What are some of those things?
Okay. Roastmaster Lawrence. I like that name so much.
Yeah.
Roastmaster Lawrence or Roastmaster Reno.
Yeah.
Okay, to be me, or to be like me, or to recommend me somewhere, you have to know Lawrence. Lawrence roasts coffee with passion. First of all, I put passion in every stage of coffee. And another thing, Lawrence knows coffee theoretically and practically. So I make research from green coffee, quality management, roasting itself, and the output.
Yeah.
So we drink coffee as we are talking, as we are chatting.
Yeah.
So Lawrence will cup for your coffee, like will taste for your coffee. Yeah. And I have some good big clients. They have to recommend Lawrence has to be there to test their coffee, to give them results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we wait for our organization, our government organization to do everything, we will not achieve.
Yeah.
Just recommend Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence is a roaster, a barista. Like he knows coffee, and also like I have my own brand. Yeah. I have my own brand as Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's also on the market and it's also selling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but me as Lawrence, as like I concentrate on the home consumption.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I want to everyone to taste that coffee at a cheaper price. So Lawrence is a good person. Is an approachable person.
Yeah.
And is a coffee connoisseur. it means coffee expert.
Yeah.
So each stage, but you find Lawrence from the green stage, that is grading, quality control, to the baristering. Lawrence will advise you. Yeah. Lawrence will give you a way forward. Yes.
So basically, just be really good at what you do, and people will look for
you.
Well, Lawrence, I just want to say thank you very much for coming to the show. I believe that all the stuff you have shared has been really important, and I know that in just 1 hour you can't really expound on everything, but from the little we could get from you, we just want to be appreciative of that. And you've shed more light on roasting. Most of the guys we've had here are baristas, okay, but it's good always to have a balance of things. You've given us the roasting side, you've also given us the mentorship side, what the youth should do in such times like this. So I just want to say thank you. I hope that we can have you again next time. And for those of you who are out there, you're looking for a roaster, Roastmaster Reno, aka Roastmaster Lawrence, we'll be there to help you. You can catch us again next time on House of Talent Television. This has been the Coffee Break Show with me, Emmanuel Ateng. Remember, you can always catch us live on our socials, House of Talent televisionuganda.com, that's on our website, HTV1 on our Twitter, House of Talent Uganda live stream on our YouTube, or just go up to our Facebook. You can watch this show live, or you can, if you missed any other show, you will find them on all those platforms. Thank you again for being with us. Till next time, this has been the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. Have a lovely day.